Awakening the wonder child. Within each person lies a spark, a quiet, unassuming flame of divine energy that is often overlooked but never extinguished. Emmet Fox, one of the great spiritual teachers of the 20th century, referred to this as the latent power within every individual. It is what we can call the wonder child, an inner presence brimming with curiosity, creativity, innocence, and potential. The wonder child is not a metaphor for immaturity or naivety, but rather a profound symbol of our spiritual essence, the part of us that is always open to life, capable of extraordinary perception, and naturally aligned with the source of all creation. Awakening this inner spark is the beginning of a journey towards spiritual awakening, self-mastery, and the full expression of our God-given potential. The wonder child is a reminder that each of us is inherently more than our circumstances, more than our limitations, and more than the sum of our experiences. In Fox's words, the power of God is always within you. You cannot get rid of it. You can only ignore it. This means that no matter how deeply buried beneath fear, doubt, or societal conditioning, the divine energy within you remains vibrant and available. The purpose of this audiobook is to guide you in uncovering and embracing that energy, helping you reconnect with your innate power and the limitless potential that has always been present. The spiritual journey of awakening the wonder child begins with recognizing that this inner power is not something to be earned or acquired. It is already yours. Every human being carries within themselves the same creative power that God uses to sustain the universe. This is not an abstract claim. It is a principle that permeates spiritual teachings across time. Emmet Fox emphasized that this divine power is not distant or inaccessible. It is an active force within each of us, ready to be expressed once we align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with higher truth. Awakening the wonder child is essentially a process of remembering what we have always known at a deeper level, that we are instruments of divine creativity, equipped with the capacity to transform our inner and outer worlds. Matthew 18 verse 3 captures this beautifully. Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Here, Jesus is not calling for regression into childishness, but inviting us to embrace the qualities of openness, trust, and receptivity that characterize the childlike state. Children do not impose limits on what they can imagine or explore. They trust life, respond with curiosity, and approach each moment with wonder. Similarly, the wonder child within us represents a state of spiritual receptivity where faith, intuition, and joy flow naturally. By cultivating this mindset, we begin to dissolve the barriers of skepticism, fear, and rigid thinking that prevent us from experiencing life fully. The wonder child is also the part of us that holds a natural alignment with the laws of the universe. According to Fox, life responds to our thinking, and the mind is the creative instrument through which we shape our experiences. Thoughts, when focused and aligned with higher principles, are powerful seeds that bring forth corresponding outcomes. When the wonder child is awakened, these seeds are planted with clarity, faith, and creativity, leading to growth, insight, and transformation. In essence, awakening the wonder child is not just a personal journey. It is an act of conscious co-creation with the divine. The journey begins with self-awareness and observation. Notice the habitual thoughts that guide your daily life. Become aware of the ways in which fear, doubt, or societal conditioning may have dimmed the spark of your inner child. The wonder child is not something separate from you. It is the essence of your being that has been temporarily overshadowed. By simply turning your attention inward, by observing and acknowledging your inner potential without judgment, you take the first step toward reawakening. Fox repeatedly emphasized that awareness is transformative. Change your thinking and you will change your world. Awareness, combined with intentional practice, awakens the latent power within. One of the key aspects of awakening the wonder child is cultivating an open mind and heart. This means letting go of preconceived notions about what is possible releasing attachments to past failures, and embracing the curiosity and wonder that naturally arise when a mind is free. To engage with the wonder child is to allow your imagination, intuition, and creativity to flourish. It is to trust that the answers you seek, the inspiration you need, and the guidance you require are already within you. As you open to this inner guidance, you begin to experience life in a more vibrant, joyful, and meaningful way. This audiobook is designed to be a guide, a companion for the listener who wishes to awaken the wonder child and step into the fullness of their potential. Each section will provide insights, practical exercises, and reflective prompts that help illuminate your path. Through meditation, affirmation, visualization, and contemplation, you will learn to align your mind, emotions, and spirit with the inner divine spark that has always been present. Every word and exercise is meant to connect you more deeply with the spiritual essence of the wonder child, fostering clarity, courage, and creativity. Awakening the wonder child is not a one-time event. It is a process, a gradual unfolding of consciousness. As the inner child emerges, you will begin to notice shifts in perception, thought patterns, and behavior. Life will feel less heavy. Challenges will appear as opportunities, and joy will become more accessible. This awakening invites you to participate fully in life, to express your authentic self without fear, and to harness the divine power within for positive transformation. Fox reminds us that no external circumstance can grant this power. It is accessed only through our willingness to recognize and embrace it. Finally, this journey is an invitation. It calls on you to engage with the material and with yourself wholeheartedly, to set aside judgment and doubt, and to approach your inner life with curiosity, courage, and faith. The wonder child is waiting patiently and persistently, ready to guide, inspire, and illuminate your path. By stepping into this journey, you are choosing to reclaim your innate power, align with divine principles, and live a life of purpose, creativity, and joy. The spark has always been there. The journey is simply about lighting it fully and allowing it to shine. Recognizing the inner power. Inner power is the inherent energy and capability present within every human being, composed of spiritual, mental, and emotional dimensions. The spiritual aspect of inner power is the connection to the divine presence, the source of life, and the infinite creative energy that permeates existence. It is the unchanging, eternal element within, capable of guiding, sustaining, and transforming thought, emotion, and action. Spiritual power expresses itself as intuition, inspiration, alignment with universal laws, and the ability to perceive life beyond surface appearances. The mental aspect of inner power is the capacity of the mind to create, organize, and direct energy into concrete results. The mind functions as the conscious mechanism through which awareness is focused and intention is projected. Mental power governs thought patterns, beliefs, and attitudes. It is responsible for decision-making, problem-solving, and the creation of internal narratives that either limit or expand potential. Emmet Fox emphasizes the importance of thought, stating, "What you think about, you bring about." This highlights the mind's role as the active force in shaping reality and influencing outcomes. Conscious direction of the mind amplifies the latent energy of the spiritual core, transforming possibilities into tangible experience. The emotional dimension of inner power is the mastery of feelings and the capacity to direct emotional energy constructively. Emotions act as indicators of alignment with inner truth, guiding attention toward growth or signaling resistance. Emotional power provides resilience, fortifies the mind against negativity, and fuels creativity and joy. When emotions are understood, balanced, and integrated, they become instruments of spiritual and mental power rather than obstacles. Cultivating emotional intelligence allows the expression of authentic self, supporting the emergence of the wonder child as a creative and joyful presence. Spiritual energy is the origin of all inner power, serving as the foundation for both mental and emotional capabilities. It exists beyond the constraints of time, space, and material circumstances, operating as a continuous flow that sustains life and facilitates creation. Awareness of spiritual energy enhances alignment with purpose, clarity, and insight. It activates latent abilities, heightens intuition, and strengthens resilience. Recognition of this energy enables the conscious use of the mind and emotions to create harmony, health, abundance, and fulfillment. Intuition is a direct expression of inner power, signaling the alignment of mind, emotion, and spirit. It emerges as sudden clarity, a sense of knowing without rational explanation, or a prompt to act in accordance with higher wisdom. Intuition bypasses limiting beliefs and habitual thought patterns, offering guidance that is both precise and practical. The more attention paid to intuitive signals, the stronger and clearer they become, reinforcing confidence in inner guidance. Creativity is another manifestation of latent power. It appears not only in artistic expression, but in problem-solving, innovation, and the ability to perceive new possibilities. Creativity reflects the mind's engagement with spiritual energy and the freedom of the emotional dimension to explore without constraint. The presence of creativity indicates openness, flexibility, and the ability to move beyond habitual thinking. It demonstrates that the wonder child is active, experimenting, imagining, and contributing to growth. Joy is a natural sign of inner power. It is not dependent on external circumstances, but arises from alignment with spiritual principles and authentic self-expression. Joy signals that mental and emotional energies are in harmony, that thought patterns are constructive, and that the spiritual core is engaged. Consistent experience of joy strengthens resilience, enhances health, and facilitates connection with others, amplifying the overall capacity of inner power. Resilience represents the capacity to withstand challenges while maintaining balance and clarity. It emerges from the integration of spiritual, mental, and emotional power, providing strength in adversity. Resilience is evidence of the wonder child's presence within, demonstrating the ability to recover, adapt, and grow through experience. It is reinforced by faith, self-awareness, and disciplined thought. Emmet Fox highlights the importance of disciplined thought and conscious focus in accessing inner power. He asserts that persistent attention on constructive, affirmative ideas cultivates energy that manifests in life circumstances. Mental focus becomes a vehicle for spiritual energy, directing it toward desired outcomes. Repetition of positive, faith-based thoughts strengthens mental patterns, reinforcing alignment with purpose and the innate power of the individual. The principle of divine habitation underlines the recognition of inner power. The Bible states in 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16, "Do you not know that you are God's temple?" This conveys the presence of the divine within every individual, emphasizing that inner power is not external or separate, but inherent. Awareness of being a temple of God reinforces respect for the mind and body as instruments of creative energy and encourages the alignment of thoughts, emotions, and actions with higher purpose. Signs of latent power often appear subtly, requiring attention and cultivation. Sudden insights, spontaneous ideas, moments of deep clarity, and feelings of inner peace indicate that spiritual energy is accessible and active. Moments of creative flow, emotional equilibrium, and intuitive guidance are signals of alignment with the inner divine spark. Recognition of these signals strengthens confidence, reinforces faith, and encourages further exploration of latent capabilities. Development of inner power involves intentional practice across all dimensions. Mental focus through meditation, affirmation, and disciplined thought ensures that the mind serves as an instrument for conscious creation. Emotional mastery through observation, regulation, and constructive expression channels energy toward positive outcomes. Spiritual cultivation through prayer, reflection, and awareness of universal principles deepens the connection with the divine source. Integration of these practices enhances the natural expression of intuition, creativity, joy, and resilience. Attention to thought patterns and beliefs is critical. Limiting beliefs, negative self-talk, and habitual mental constructs can obscure inner power and diminish access to the wonder child. By consciously choosing constructive, faith-aligned thoughts, individuals can redirect mental energy toward growth and expression. Emmet Fox emphasizes that attention to thought is a form of spiritual practice, transforming the mind into a conduit for divine energy. The process of recognizing inner power also involves observation of emotional responses. Fear, doubt, or anger can signal misalignment, while joy, curiosity, and calm indicate constructive engagement with internal energy. Awareness of emotional patterns allows for conscious adjustment, releasing tension and fostering harmonious expression of inner capabilities. Spiritual energy supports mental clarity and emotional equilibrium. Practices that cultivate awareness of the divine presence enhance sensitivity to intuitive guidance, amplify creative output, and stabilize emotional responses. Conscious alignment with spiritual principles provides a foundation for reliable access to inner power, ensuring that thoughts and emotions are directed in constructive ways. The mind, when disciplined, acts as a magnifier of spiritual energy. Focused intention and repeated positive thought reinforce neural and spiritual pathways, establishing habits that align with innate power. Mental concentration amplifies clarity, insight, and the ability to translate potential into tangible results. Spiritual principles guide these practices, ensuring that mental energy is directed ethically, creatively, and in harmony with universal laws. Emotional energy, when consciously directed, fuels resilience, creativity, and joy. Recognition of emotional patterns and deliberate engagement with constructive feelings strengthens the capacity to navigate life challenges, maintain harmony, and express the authentic self. Emotional mastery reinforces the integration of mind and spirit, completing the triad of inner power dimensions. Intuition, creativity, joy, and resilience serve as measurable indicators of the presence and functioning of inner power. Heightened perception, inspired action, and emotional equilibrium demonstrate that spiritual energy is flowing effectively through mental and emotional channels. Regular observation of these indicators encourages consistent alignment, further awakening the latent wonder child. Spiritual energy, mental clarity, and emotional mastery converge to form a coherent system of inner power. Recognition of this system, combined with consistent practice and awareness, facilitates conscious access to potential, enabling personal growth, expanded perception, and the ability to positively influence life circumstances. The mind as a creative force. The mind is the most powerful instrument available to human beings, capable of shaping reality, directing energy, and influencing every aspect of life. Emmet Fox described the mind as a garden, emphasizing that what is planted and nurtured there determines the quality and abundance of personal experience. The mind is like a garden. What you plant will grow. This principle underlines the necessity of conscious attention, mental discipline, and alignment with spiritual truth to cultivate constructive thought patterns that foster personal growth, creativity, and inner power. Human thought operates on two fundamental levels, the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part of awareness responsible for deliberate thought, decision-making, and reasoning. It evaluates options, analyzes possibilities, and directs attention to chosen objectives. The conscious mind is active in the present moment, capable of intentional action, and able to assess outcomes critically. While vital for practical functioning, the conscious mind represents only a fraction of total mental activity. The subconscious mind is a vast reservoir of stored experiences, beliefs, memories, and emotional patterns. It governs automatic reactions, habitual behaviors, and the internal narrative that defines identity. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between constructive or destructive input. It absorbs repeated thoughts, feelings, and suggestions, integrating them as truth. This integration influences perception, decision-making, and emotional response, shaping the reality experienced by the individual. Beliefs and mental images residing in the subconscious often determine outcomes before conscious reasoning intervenes. Thoughts, therefore, are not neutral. They're the building blocks of experience. Proverbs 23 verse 7 affirms this principle. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. The inner convictions, mental images, and recurring beliefs contained in the subconscious mind manifest as circumstances, opportunities, and internal responses. Thoughts held persistently in the mind direct energy, attract corresponding experiences, and influence the course of life. Positive, faith-aligned thinking nurtures personal growth, while negative or limiting thought patterns restrict potential and obscure the expression of the wonder child. The mind's creative power is amplified through imagination. Imagination allows the conscious mind to construct images of possibilities, explore potential solutions, and engage with ideas beyond immediate experience. Visualization is a practical application of imagination, where deliberate mental imagery is used to plant seeds in the subconscious mind. By vividly imagining outcomes, intentions, and states of being, the individual communicates to the subconscious that these experiences are achievable. The repeated focus on constructive images strengthens belief, aligns energy, and attracts corresponding circumstances. Visualization, when combined with faith and emotional engagement, accelerates the manifestation of desired outcomes. Emmet Fox emphasized the necessity of combining thought with conviction, noting that mental imagery alone is insufficient without an underlying belief in its possibility. The conscious mind directs attention, while the subconscious mind accepts and amplifies the image as reality. Consistent, focused visualization fosters confidence, aligns actions with intention, and activates latent creative potential. Beliefs serve as the primary medium through which the mind shapes experience. Constructive beliefs empower the individual to engage fully with opportunities, embrace growth, and manifest inner potential. Limiting beliefs, often rooted in fear, doubt, or past conditioning, obstruct the natural flow of creative energy. By observing thoughts and identifying restrictive patterns, the conscious mind gains the capacity to challenge and reframe these beliefs, replacing them with affirming principles that support spiritual alignment, emotional well-being, and purposeful action. Alignment of thought patterns with spiritual principles enhances the effectiveness of mental creativity. Principles such as faith, gratitude, love, and trust serve as guiding forces for the mind. When thought patterns reflect these qualities, the subconscious mind accepts them as truth, resulting in constructive emotional responses and effective, inspired action. Thoughts aligned with spiritual law create harmony, attract positive circumstances, and facilitate the expression of the wonder child's creativity, joy, and resilience. The subconscious mind can be reprogrammed through deliberate repetition, affirmation, and emotional engagement. Positive affirmations, consistent visualization, and conscious focus on desired qualities or outcomes gradually overwrite limiting mental patterns. Emmet Fox emphasized that repeated mental planting shapes internal habits and eventually external circumstances. Consistent mental effort produces observable change. The mind, like a well-tended garden, grows what is cultivated with care and attention. Mental discipline requires observation and intentionality. Awareness of recurring thoughts, internal dialogue, and emotional responses allows recognition of patterns that either nurture or hinder creative potential. By observing thought without attachment or judgment, individuals gain clarity on which mental seeds to cultivate. Replacing fear-based or limiting thoughts with constructive alternatives strengthens alignment with inner power and fosters consistent, purposeful creation. Imagination and thought, when harmonized with emotional engagement, produce energy that extends beyond the individual, influencing behavior, perception, and external circumstances. Emotional intensity acts as a catalyst, energizing mental images and reinforcing belief. Joy, confidence, and faith imbue thoughts with power, while negative emotions weaken the creative capacity of the mind. Mastery of both thought and emotion amplifies the influence of mental activity, activating latent spiritual energy and awakening the wonder child. The interplay between conscious choice and subconscious acceptance underlines the importance of disciplined focus. Repeated attention to constructive ideas communicates consistently with the subconscious, establishing new patterns of thought and belief. Faith, expectation, and visualization serve as channels through which divine energy flows, directing action and perception. Emmet Fox emphasized that the mind's power is neutral in itself, but becomes transformative when guided by awareness and constructive intention. Spiritual alignment enhances mental creativity. Beliefs grounded in faith, divine law, and ethical principles guide thought, ensuring that imagination and visualization produce beneficial outcomes. The mind, when aligned with spiritual truth, functions as a conduit for divine energy, translating potential into manifestation. Recognition of this alignment strengthens confidence, reinforces ethical action, and nurtures the ongoing development of inner power. Intuition and insight emerge as natural consequences of a disciplined, spiritually aligned mind. The conscious mind, when harmonized with the subconscious, gains clarity and access to inspiration beyond immediate perception. Solutions to challenges, creative ideas, and moments of clarity arise more frequently as mental alignment improves. The wonder child, representing curiosity, creativity, and receptivity, flourishes within this environment, expressing latent power freely and effectively. Persistent mental cultivation leads to the internalization of constructive thought patterns. Habits of thought, once reinforced through repetition, become automatic, shaping perception, behavior, and emotional response. The mind evolves into a reliable instrument for conscious creation, reflecting alignment with spiritual law, ethical intention, and inner guidance. Emmet Fox's teaching emphasizes that by changing thought patterns, individuals transform not only perception but life circumstances, demonstrating the power inherent in disciplined mental cultivation. Spiritual principles, conscious observation, and imaginative practice converge to establish a mind capable of intentional, creative influence. The mind functions as a garden, the subconscious as fertile soil, and disciplined attention as the act of planting seeds. What is nurtured grows, and what is neglected fades. Persistent cultivation produces a mind that generates constructive, harmonious, and life-enhancing outcomes, awakening the wonder child and activating the latent power inherent within every individual. The spiritual foundation. Inner power does not exist in isolation. It is rooted in a spiritual foundation that governs its expression, sustains its energy, and guides its alignment with truth and purpose. Spirituality is the recognition of life's divine essence and the conscious awareness of the soul as the center of guidance and transformation. It is through spiritual connection that the latent power within is awakened, focused, and made effective. The wonder child, as Emmet Fox describes, flourishes within this framework, expressing creativity, intuition, joy, and resilience in harmony with universal principles. The connection between spirituality and inner power is evident in the understanding that all life emanates from a divine source. Spirituality is not merely belief or ritual. It is the experiential recognition of the presence of God, universal energy, or divine consciousness within and around us. This presence serves as the ultimate source of creativity, guidance, and strength. Spiritual awareness activates the latent power within the individual, aligning mental focus, emotional energy, and conscious intention with the infinite potential of life itself. Without this foundation, mental and emotional abilities may be scattered or misdirected, limiting the capacity of the wonder child to manifest fully. The soul functions as the guiding essence in this spiritual framework. It is the eternal and unchanging core of human existence, distinct from temporary thoughts, emotions, or experiences. The soul contains intrinsic wisdom, intuition, and alignment with divine law. When the mind and emotions are guided by the soul, they operate in harmony, producing clarity, creativity, and resilience. Emmet Fox emphasizes the importance of inner listening. The soul communicates through intuition, insight, and subtle inspiration, and the conscious mind can learn to recognize and act upon these messages. Spiritual transformation occurs when the individual aligns thought, emotion, and action with the guidance of the soul, allowing latent potential to emerge naturally. Understanding and applying spiritual laws provides a practical framework for awakening inner power. Several universal principles govern the flow of energy, the manifestation of intention, and the alignment of personal action with divine purpose. These laws create predictable patterns in life, and conscious alignment with them enhances the expression of the wonder child. The law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action produces a corresponding outcome. Conscious, constructive thoughts lead to growth, opportunity, and alignment, while negative or fearful thinking produces limitation and resistance. Emmet Fox emphasizes that changing thought patterns is the first step toward transforming life circumstances. The law of attraction, energy responds to attention. Thoughts and emotions create a vibrational frequency that attracts experiences and relationships corresponding to their nature. Positive, faith-aligned focus generates opportunities for expansion, creativity, and fulfillment. The law of divine timing. Life unfolds according to an order beyond immediate comprehension. Patience and trust allow processes to develop organically. Attempting to force outcomes disrupts natural alignment, whereas surrendering to divine timing enables the wonder child to operate in harmony with life's flow. The law of unity. All existence is interconnected. Recognizing interdependence fosters compassion, empathy, and collaborative engagement. The wonder child thrives in a state of connection where creativity, joy, and love extend beyond self-interest. The law of vibration. Everything is in constant motion, emitting energy that shapes interaction and experience. Raising personal vibration through love, gratitude, and positive focus aligns the individual with higher potential and facilitates the expression of latent power. Daily spiritual practices serve to strengthen the foundation, deepen alignment with these principles, and nurture the expression of inner power. Meditation cultivates stillness, focus, and direct access to intuitive guidance. By quieting the mind, the individual perceives the subtle messages of the soul and experiences clarity of purpose. Regular meditation also stabilizes mental and emotional energy, enabling the wonder child to act from creativity and inspiration rather than reactive patterns. Prayer functions as both alignment and communication with the divine source. It establishes intention, fosters faith, and reinforces recognition of inner power. Through prayer, the mind and heart connect with universal energy, creating a conduit for insight, healing, and manifestation. Emmet Fox emphasized affirmative prayer, focusing on constructive vision rather than complaint, as a practical tool to direct inner power effectively. Gratitude amplifies spiritual awareness and cultivates higher vibrational states. Regular acknowledgement of life's blessings strengthens faith, improves emotional stability, and fosters receptivity to new opportunities. Gratitude aligns the individual with the natural abundance of the universe and enhances the ability to recognize and express latent potential. Mindfulness and conscious presence reinforce spiritual alignment in daily life. By attending to thoughts, emotions, and actions without attachment or judgment, the individual cultivates awareness of mental and emotional patterns. This practice allows constructive redirection of energy, supporting the expression of creativity, joy, and resilience. Mindfulness bridges spiritual awareness with practical living, ensuring that the wonder child is active not only in reflection, but in everyday interaction. Integration of spiritual principles and practices facilitates transformation at multiple levels. The mind becomes a tool for conscious creation. The emotions provide energy and motivation, and the soul directs alignment and intention. Romans 12 verse 2 emphasizes this process. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Spiritual foundation is the mechanism through which this renewal occurs. By cultivating awareness, aligning with universal law, and applying disciplined practice, the individual experiences not only personal growth, but also the liberation of creative and intuitive capacities inherent in the wonder child. The wonder child, when nurtured through spiritual practice, displays qualities of curiosity, courage, and joy. Spiritual alignment provides a stable environment for these qualities to manifest, protecting the individual from limiting beliefs, fear, and habitual negativity. Awareness of divine presence, adherence to universal law, and consistent practice create conditions in which creativity, intuition, and personal power emerge naturally and reliably. Spiritual energy also influences physical and mental health. Awareness of the divine presence and engagement with spiritual practices reduces stress, strengthens resilience, and enhances clarity of thought. The mind and body respond to alignment with higher principles, allowing energy to flow unhindered, which reinforces the expression of latent power. Emmet Fox taught that spiritual alignment directly impacts life circumstances, suggesting that a foundation rooted in faith, awareness, and practice translates into tangible results, including emotional equilibrium, creativity, and practical success. The ongoing cultivation of spiritual foundation strengthens the internal capacity to respond constructively to life challenges. The wonder child, once awakened, navigates experiences with confidence, joy, and clarity, operating in harmony with inner guidance and universal law. Daily spiritual practice fosters consistency, builds discipline, and ensures that alignment with the soul's wisdom becomes habitual, enabling sustainable growth, manifestation, and personal transformation. Awareness of spiritual foundation encourages conscious engagement with all aspects of life. Thought, emotion, and action become tools for intentional creation rather than reactive response. Alignment with spiritual law enables access to intuition, creative insight, and transformative power. Through meditation, prayer, gratitude, and mindfulness, the individual establishes an ongoing connection with divine energy, sustaining the development of the wonder child and facilitating continual awakening of latent potential. Uncovering limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are the hidden barriers within the mind that restrict the expression of the wonder child and obstruct the natural flow of inner power. They are deeply ingrained convictions that shape perception, thought patterns, and behavior, often operating unconsciously. These beliefs are not inherently true. They are mental constructs developed over time, originating from early life experiences, societal conditioning, and internalized fear. They create invisible fences that define what is perceived as possible, influencing decisions, emotional responses, and interactions with the world. Childhood experiences are a primary source of limiting beliefs. Repeated messages from parents, teachers, or authority figures often embed ideas about personal worth, capability, and potential. Statements such as "you are not good enough," "don't try," "you will fail," or "be careful" may seem protective in context, yet they shape the internal narrative of self-doubt and limitation. Over time, these messages solidify into automatic thought patterns, forming the foundation of mental blocks that continue into adulthood. Emmet Fox emphasized that childhood conditioning, when unexamined, becomes a silent authority within the mind, influencing choices and behavior without conscious awareness. Society contributes significantly to the formation of limiting beliefs. Cultural norms, social expectations, and subtle messaging about success, status, or acceptable behavior impose boundaries on thought and action. Societal reinforcement of comparison, judgment, and restriction often discourages exploration, innovation, and authentic self-expression. The collective belief system becomes internalized, shaping perceptions of what is attainable or permissible. The wonder child, with its inherent curiosity and creative energy, is frequently constrained by these societal frameworks, suppressing natural potential and limiting engagement with life. Fear is another fundamental source of limiting beliefs. Fear arises from a sense of threat, real or perceived, and compels the mind to adopt protective patterns. When faced with repeated challenges or uncertainty, the subconscious mind generates beliefs aimed at minimizing risk, such as, "I cannot succeed," or "it is too dangerous to try." These beliefs are survival mechanisms intended to protect, but when left unexamined, they hinder growth, stifle creativity, and restrict the expression of the inner self. The cumulative effect of fear-based thinking is a life constrained by avoidance, hesitation, and self-doubt. Self-doubt is the emotional manifestation of limiting beliefs. It appears as hesitation, procrastination, indecision, and an internal voice that questions competence or worth. Self-doubt limits initiative, reduces confidence, and obscures opportunities for growth. Fear reinforces self-doubt, creating a feedback loop that strengthens limiting patterns. Emmet Fox emphasized that thought is a powerful creative force. Habitual negative thinking reinforces the very limitations it seeks to escape. Change begins with awareness and intentional redirection of thought. Recognizing subconscious mental blocks is essential for transformation. Mental blocks manifest as recurring negative thoughts, resistance to change, procrastination, or habitual self-sabotage. Observing patterns in thought and emotion allows identification of the specific beliefs that constrain potential. Key indicators include recurring negative thoughts. Thoughts such as, "I am not enough," or "this is impossible," indicate deeply embedded limiting beliefs. Emotional resistance. Anxiety, fear, or frustration often signals internal opposition to growth or change. Avoidance behavior. Avoiding challenges, opportunities, or difficult conversations may indicate mental blocks rooted in self-protective belief systems. Self-sabotage. Patterns of procrastination, perfectionism, or destructive decision-making reveal subconscious resistance to success or fulfillment. Attachment to past failures. Constant focus on past mistakes reinforces limiting narratives and inhibits exploration of new possibilities. Once identified, limiting beliefs can be released through deliberate, constructive techniques. Reframing is a method of consciously changing perception. By examining the validity and origin of a belief and creating an alternative perspective, the mind is retrained to interpret experiences differently. For example, "I am not capable" can be reframed as, "I am capable of learning and growing through challenges." Repetition of this reframed thought gradually strengthens new mental pathways, transforming the subconscious narrative. Affirmations are a complementary tool for releasing limiting beliefs. Positive statements repeated consistently direct attention to constructive ideas, replacing negative patterns. Affirmations such as, "I trust my inner wisdom," or "I am worthy of abundance and joy," reinforce faith, confidence, and alignment with inner power. When combined with emotional engagement, affirmations effectively communicate with the subconscious mind, establishing new habits of thought that support growth and self-expression. Visualization is another effective technique for releasing limiting beliefs. By creating vivid mental images of success, fulfillment, and desired states, the mind internalizes the possibility of these outcomes. Visualization bypasses skeptical conscious reasoning and engages the subconscious, planting seeds of constructive expectation. Repeated mental rehearsal of positive outcomes strengthens confidence, enhances motivation, and aligns energy with desired goals. Conscious inquiry involves examining beliefs with curiosity and discernment. Questions such as, is this belief true? Who told me this was true? Or does this belief serve my highest potential? Create awareness and weaken the unquestioned authority of limiting patterns. By engaging the mind in active evaluation, beliefs are brought into the light of conscious understanding, allowing rational, constructive thought to replace automatic constraint. Emmet Fox emphasized that change in life begins with change in thinking. Change your thinking and you will change your life. This principle underlines the direct link between mental patterns and lived experience. Limiting beliefs operate as invisible frameworks, shaping behavior and circumstance. Conscious intervention transforms these frameworks, creating space for the natural expression of the wonder child. By actively identifying, reframing, and replacing limiting beliefs, the mind becomes fertile ground for creativity, joy, and spiritual alignment. Releasing limiting beliefs is not instantaneous. It requires patience, consistency, and awareness. Daily practice of mental discipline, affirmation, visualization, and conscious inquiry gradually weakens the influence of past conditioning, societal expectations, and fear. As mental blocks dissolve, the wonder child emerges, expressing natural curiosity, creativity, and resilience. Life becomes increasingly aligned with inner potential, and the individual experiences enhanced clarity, confidence, and purpose. Spiritual alignment strengthens the process of releasing limiting beliefs. Beliefs anchored in fear or doubt are neutralized when replaced with faith-based, constructive perspectives. Recognizing the presence of divine guidance, embracing spiritual laws, and cultivating mindfulness enhance the capacity to observe, release, and replace restrictive patterns. The mind, when aligned with spiritual truth, functions as a powerful instrument of conscious creation, and the latent energy of the wonder child becomes active and accessible. Regular reflection, meditation, and journaling reinforce awareness of limiting beliefs. By tracking recurring thoughts, emotional reactions, and behavioral patterns, the individual gains insight into the subconscious narratives that shape life. This awareness enables targeted interventions through reframing, affirmation, and visualization, accelerating the process of transformation. Repetition and consistency are key. The more the mind is trained to focus on constructive, faith-aligned thought, the stronger the expression of inner power becomes. The cumulative effect of releasing limiting beliefs is profound. Thought, emotion, and action align with higher principles, intuition strengthens, and creativity flourishes. Self-doubt diminishes, fear loses its grip, and resilience increases. The wonder child, previously constrained by invisible barriers, becomes fully active, engaging life with curiosity, confidence, and joy. Emmet Fox's teaching underscores that the internal landscape of thought and belief directly determines external reality. Transforming the mind transforms experience. Developing self-awareness. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal transformation and the awakening of the wonder child. It is the conscious recognition of thoughts, emotions, and habitual patterns without judgment or resistance. Emmet Fox emphasized that true growth begins with observation, understanding, and reflection. The mind, when observed with clarity, becomes a tool for conscious creation, and the energy of the inner child, latent and creative, can be awakened and expressed. Without self-awareness, mental and emotional patterns operate unconsciously, often reinforcing limiting beliefs and habitual reactions that obscure inner power. Observing thoughts is a fundamental practice in developing self-awareness. Thoughts are the language through which the mind communicates, and they reflect both conscious intentions and subconscious programming. Observation involves noticing recurring ideas, self-talk, and internal narratives without labeling them as good or bad. This non-judgmental awareness allows the mind to separate from automatic responses and recognize patterns that may hinder growth. By creating space between awareness and thought, individuals gain the ability to choose which ideas to nurture and which to release, cultivating a mind aligned with intention and spiritual principles. Equally important is observing emotions. Emotions are indicators of alignment or misalignment with inner truth. Fear, anger, frustration, or sadness often signal resistance, unprocessed experiences, or beliefs that require attention. Joy, peace, curiosity, and inspiration reflect alignment with purpose, constructive thought, and a natural expression of inner power. Observing emotions without suppression or over-identification enables conscious engagement with feelings, transforming them into guides rather than obstacles. Emotional awareness strengthens resilience, enhances clarity, and provides insight into habitual responses that may limit expression of the wonder child. Patterns of behavior also reveal subconscious programming. Habits, reactions, and repeated cycles often originate from early conditioning, societal influence, or internalized fear. Awareness of these patterns allows the individual to differentiate authentic self-expression from automatic responses. Conditioned reactions may appear as defensive behaviors, avoidance, or self-sabotage, while authentic responses arise from alignment with values, intuition, and inner guidance. By discerning between conditioned patterns and genuine expression, the mind gains the ability to redirect energy toward constructive action and conscious creation. Differentiating the authentic self from conditioned responses is central to self-awareness. The authentic self represents the unconditioned, creative, intuitive essence, the wonder child within. Conditioned responses are learned reactions that serve past survival or social conformity, but may no longer be relevant. Self-awareness involves recognizing the influence of conditioning and consciously choosing actions that reflect inner truth. This differentiation restores personal power, enabling decision-making, creativity, and emotional expression to flow from the soul rather than reactive habit. Journaling is a practical tool to enhance self-awareness. Writing down thoughts, emotions, and experiences creates a reflective mirror, allowing recognition of patterns and underlying beliefs. Journaling facilitates clarity by externalizing internal dialogue, highlighting recurring themes, and providing insight into the interaction of thought, emotion, and behavior. Through consistent practice, journaling becomes a powerful instrument for observing subconscious patterns, releasing limiting beliefs, and tracking progress in the awakening of inner potential. Meditation deepens self-awareness by fostering stillness, focus, and direct observation of the mind. Through meditation, the conscious observer is strengthened, enabling recognition of habitual thought patterns and emotional tendencies. Focused attention in meditation creates a bridge between conscious awareness and inner guidance, enhancing intuition and insight. The practice of observing thoughts and emotions in meditation cultivates equanimity, reduces reactive tendencies, and strengthens alignment with higher principles, reinforcing the expression of the wonder child. Reflection is an additional method to cultivate self-awareness. By reviewing actions, decisions, and emotional responses, individuals gain perspective on internal patterns and their influence on external experience. Reflection encourages discernment, conscious choice, and intentional adjustment of mental and emotional habits. Emmet Fox emphasized the importance of reflection as a spiritual exercise, noting that insight emerges when the mind is calmly examined and patterns are observed without attachment. Reflection supports the ongoing process of aligning thought, emotion, and action with inner wisdom and purpose. Self-awareness is directly connected to intuition and inner guidance. The more clearly one observes mental and emotional patterns, the more effectively one can discern the subtle voice of the soul. Intuition emerges as clarity, inspiration, or instinctive understanding when the mind is free from clutter and reactive conditioning. Observing thought and emotion creates space for intuitive insight, allowing the wonder child to guide decision-making, creativity, and problem-solving. Awareness acts as a filter, distinguishing authentic guidance from habitual fear or societal influence, strengthening trust in inner wisdom. Biblical insight reinforces the spiritual dimension of self-awareness. Psalm 139 verses 23 to 24 states, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." This passage emphasizes the importance of introspection, spiritual alignment, and conscious recognition of inner patterns. By inviting divine examination of the mind and heart, individuals cultivate clarity, insight, and alignment with higher principles, allowing the wonder child to express creativity, joy, and authentic potential. Developing self-awareness also involves non-judgmental observation of resistance. Moments of fear, hesitation, or discomfort indicate areas requiring attention or reframing. Observing resistance without suppression enables conscious engagement with limiting beliefs, past conditioning, or emotional tension. By approaching internal patterns with curiosity rather than criticism, the mind learns to redirect energy constructively, reinforcing the alignment of thought, emotion, and action with spiritual truth. Self-awareness strengthens personal agency. Awareness of thought patterns, emotional responses, and habitual behaviors creates the capacity to choose intentional action rather than reactive behavior. Emmet Fox emphasized that transformation begins in the mind. Awareness allows individuals to plant constructive ideas, cultivate positive beliefs, and direct energy toward desired outcomes. Conscious engagement with internal patterns amplifies the expression of inner power, supporting creativity, resilience, and purposeful action. The practice of observing thought, emotion, and behavior also enhances emotional intelligence. Recognition of emotional triggers, habitual responses, and subconscious beliefs enables regulation, constructive expression, and conscious choice. Emotional intelligence strengthens relationships, decision-making, and resilience, providing a stable foundation for the expression of the wonder child. Self-awareness transforms the mind and heart into instruments of conscious creation, harmonizing energy with spiritual alignment and personal potential. Integrating self-awareness with daily spiritual practice deepens its effectiveness. Meditation, prayer, journaling, and reflection reinforce observation, enhance intuition, and provide a framework for conscious evaluation of thought and emotion. Spiritual connection strengthens the capacity to discern authentic guidance, recognize patterns, and release limiting beliefs. Self-awareness becomes a multidimensional practice, encompassing mental clarity, emotional mastery, and spiritual alignment, facilitating the full awakening of latent inner power. Recognition of authentic self-expression through self-awareness empowers creativity, intuition, and alignment with higher purpose. The wonder child, once observed and nurtured, operates with freedom, curiosity, and joy. Awareness of internal patterns enables intentional cultivation of constructive thought, emotional balance, and spiritual alignment. The continuous practice of observing and reflecting strengthens the ability to respond rather than react, creating a foundation for conscious, creative, and empowered living. Emotional mastery and freedom. Emotional mastery is the conscious understanding, management, and transformation of feelings, allowing the individual to navigate life with clarity, resilience, and freedom. Emotions are not limitations. They are messages from the inner self and the subconscious mind, providing information about alignment, unmet needs, and internal beliefs. Emmet Fox emphasized that unhappiness or inner turmoil is not to be fought or suppressed, but understood and redirected through conscious thought. You cannot get rid of unhappiness by trying to fight it. You must change your thinking. Emotional mastery involves interpreting emotions as guidance, transforming them into lessons, and using their energy constructively. Emotions are indicators of alignment or resistance to inner truth and spiritual principles. Fear signals perceived threats or unprocessed limiting beliefs. Anger indicates frustration with boundaries or unmet expectations, and sadness reflects loss, disappointment, or disconnection from purpose. Observing emotions without judgment allows the mind to recognize patterns and understand their origin. Instead of being constrained by reactive feelings, individuals can respond intentionally, using emotional energy to cultivate insight, growth, and transformation. Fear is one of the most common emotions that restrict personal power. It originates from the subconscious mind's attempt to protect against perceived danger or failure. Fear can paralyze action, distort perception, and reinforce limiting beliefs. Recognizing fear as a message rather than a constraint is the first step toward mastery. By observing the underlying belief generating fear, reframing the narrative, and redirecting thought toward faith, courage, and possibility, fear transforms into an instructive guide rather than a restrictive force. Anger often arises when expectations are unmet or boundaries are perceived to be violated. It signals the need for clarity, communication, or change. When left unchecked, anger can lead to destructive behavior, stress, or conflict. Emotional mastery involves acknowledging anger, identifying its source, and channeling its energy constructively. Techniques such as mindfulness, breath work, and conscious reflection allow anger to be processed and transformed into motivation, clarity, and decisive action. Anger can thus become a catalyst for growth rather than a source of limitation. Sadness and grief reflect experiences of loss, unmet expectations, or disconnection. These emotions, though challenging, provide an opportunity for reflection, insight, and healing. Emotional mastery entails allowing oneself to feel fully, understanding the lessons contained within, and consciously redirecting energy toward acceptance, gratitude, and renewed purpose. Sadness becomes a teacher, guiding the individual toward clarity, compassion, and alignment with inner truth. Techniques for emotional mastery support the conscious transformation of feelings into constructive energy. Breathwork is a primary method for regulating emotional responses. Deep, intentional breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress, calming the mind, and restoring clarity. Breathwork provides a physiological foundation for conscious response, enabling observation of emotion without reactivity and fostering emotional equilibrium. Mindfulness cultivates awareness of present moment experience, including thoughts, sensations, and emotions. Observing emotions without attachment, judgment, or immediate reaction creates space for understanding and conscious choice. Mindfulness allows individuals to notice habitual emotional responses, identify triggers, and practice deliberate engagement. This awareness reduces reactive behavior, strengthens resilience, and enhances alignment with inner guidance and spiritual principles. Conscious response involves choosing deliberate action in alignment with values, insight, and purpose rather than reacting impulsively to emotion. Emotional mastery is expressed when thoughts, words, and actions are guided by discernment, reflection, and inner wisdom. Techniques such as pausing before responding, evaluating the source of emotion, and choosing constructive expression strengthen the ability to transform reactive energy into positive outcomes. Emmet Fox's principle highlights the role of thought in emotional transformation. Unhappiness, fear, and frustration cannot be eliminated through avoidance or suppression. They're changed through conscious thinking. Shifting perspective, affirming constructive beliefs, and focusing on higher principles directly influence emotional experience. Mental redirection transforms emotional energy, allowing fear to become courage, anger to become motivation, and sadness to become insight. Spiritual alignment enhances emotional mastery. Emotions are most effectively transformed when guided by spiritual awareness, faith, and principles. Recognition of divine presence, adherence to universal law, and alignment with higher purpose provide a framework for interpreting emotions constructively. Emotions then serve as indicators and teachers rather than obstacles, guiding the individual toward personal growth, authentic expression, and the awakening of inner power. Biblical insight reinforces the concept of emotional mastery as a spiritual practice. Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23 identifies the fruits of the Spirit. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. These qualities represent the highest expression of emotional energy aligned with spiritual principles. Mastery of emotion is not suppression. It is the cultivation of love, patience, joy, and self-control as natural expressions of inner power. By consciously developing these qualities, individuals align emotional experience with spiritual guidance, reinforcing the active presence of the wonder child. The process of emotional mastery begins with observation. Awareness of emotional patterns, triggers, and habitual responses is foundational. By noticing the emergence of fear, anger, or sadness without judgment, the individual creates space for conscious intervention. Reflection on the source and purpose of emotion enhances understanding, while the application of breath work, mindfulness, and conscious response provides practical tools to redirect energy. Integration of emotional mastery with self-awareness, mental discipline, and spiritual alignment produces a coherent system of inner power. Observed and transformed emotions reinforce constructive thought, enhance intuitive guidance, and strengthen resilience. The mind becomes a conscious instrument of creation, the heart a channel for spiritual energy, and the body a vessel for aligned action. Emotional mastery ensures that the latent power of the wonder child is expressed freely, effectively, and joyfully. Repeated practice of these techniques strengthens the internal environment, making emotional energy a reliable resource for personal transformation. Emotional challenges are reframed as lessons, reactive patterns are replaced with conscious choice, and the individual experiences enhanced clarity, peace, and creative capacity. Fear becomes courage, anger becomes motivation, and sadness becomes understanding, demonstrating the practical power of aligned emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is not an end in itself, but a continuous practice. The mind and heart evolve as awareness deepens. Habitual patterns are transformed, and alignment with spiritual principles is reinforced. The wonder child emerges more fully in an environment where emotions are understood, managed, and channeled constructively. Life becomes an arena for conscious creation, guided by clarity, insight, and spiritual alignment. Mastery of emotion strengthens relationships, decision-making, and engagement with life's opportunities. Awareness of emotional energy, combined with skillful management, allows for constructive communication, empathy, and compassionate action. Emmet Fox emphasized that unhappiness is a product of misdirected thought. Emotional mastery ensures that energy flows in alignment with truth, enabling fulfillment, creativity, and authentic expression. The culmination of emotional mastery is freedom, the ability to experience life without being constrained by reactive patterns, fear, or unresolved emotional energy. The mind, body, and spirit operate in harmony, and the latent power of the wonder child expresses naturally through creativity, intuition, joy, and purposeful action. Emotional mastery transforms obstacles into opportunities, energy into insight, and experience into growth. Aligning thought, word, and action. The alignment of thought, word, and action is fundamental to the awakening and expression of inner power. True personal transformation occurs when the mind, speech, and behavior operate in harmony, reflecting the inner divine spark known as the wonder child. Emmet Fox emphasized that human life is created from the energy of thought, and words are instruments through which thought manifests in tangible reality. Words are magic. They create life. Alignment ensures that intentions are consistent across mental, verbal, and behavioral expression, maximizing the influence of inner power and enhancing the effectiveness of conscious creation. Thought is the origin of alignment. Every action and spoken word arises from mental patterns and beliefs. Thoughts act as seeds, planting ideas into the subconscious mind, which then influences emotion, behavior, and perception. Misalignment occurs when thought is inconsistent with speech or action. For example, thinking positively but expressing doubt verbally, or intending growth while acting in ways that contradict that intention. Conscious awareness of thoughts allows individuals to direct energy toward constructive, faith-aligned outcomes, forming the foundation for unified expression. Speech functions as the bridge between internal thought and external reality. Words are powerful instruments of creation, capable of shaping circumstances, influencing others, and reinforcing internal beliefs. The tongue may be small, yet its impact is immense. As noted in James 3 verse 5, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts great things. Speaking with intention, faith, and positivity strengthens alignment between thought and action, reinforcing internal beliefs and planting seeds for manifestation. Conversely, careless or contradictory speech undermines inner power, creating confusion, resistance, or self-sabotage. Behavior is the outward manifestation of thought and word. Actions aligned with constructive thought and intentional speech demonstrate integrity, reinforce belief, and materialize potential. When behavior reflects inner intention, the individual becomes a living embodiment of alignment, transmitting coherence, confidence, and authenticity. Misaligned behavior, however, creates internal conflict, erodes trust in oneself, and diminishes the flow of creative energy, suppressing the natural expression of the wonder child. Exercises in conscious alignment cultivate the unity of thought, word, and action. The first exercise involves observation, noticing inconsistencies between internal thought, verbal expression, and behavior. Journaling can support this practice by recording recurring patterns, identifying contradictions, and reflecting on how alignment affects outcomes. Awareness alone strengthens alignment, providing insight into areas requiring adjustment and cultivating mindfulness in daily interactions. The second exercise involves deliberate intention and thought. Emmet Fox emphasized the importance of persistent constructive thinking. What you think about, you bring about. Setting clear, affirmative intentions directs mental energy toward desired outcomes. This practice includes framing thoughts positively, focusing on possibilities rather than limitations, and visualizing outcomes aligned with purpose. When thought is disciplined, speech and action naturally follow, reinforcing coherence and strengthening creative influence. The third exercise focuses on conscious speech. Before speaking, individuals are encouraged to pause, consider the impact of their words, and align statements with intention, truth, and positivity. Affirmative speech cultivates confidence, reinforces constructive thought, and communicates faith and intention to both self and others. Speaking with purpose ensures that words amplify inner alignment, rather than contradict it, and transforms communication into a tool for conscious creation. The fourth exercise involves behavioral consistency. Actions are reviewed and adjusted to ensure they reflect internal thought and verbal intention. Simple practices include committing to integrity in decision-making, following through on promises, and engaging in behaviors that reflect personal values and spiritual principles. Behavioral alignment reinforces belief, stabilizes emotion, and establishes trust between the conscious and subconscious mind, creating a coherent framework for manifesting inner potential. Integration of these exercises creates a feedback loop in which thought, word, and action mutually reinforce alignment. Positive thought generates constructive speech, which motivates aligned behavior. Aligned behavior strengthens internal belief, enhances emotional coherence, and amplifies mental clarity. This synergy magnifies the impact of inner power, allowing the wonder child to express creativity, joy, intuition, and resilience fully. Spiritual awareness enhances alignment by providing a guiding framework. Recognition of divine presence and adherence to universal principles ensures that thought, word, and action are not only coherent, but ethically and spiritually constructive. Alignment with spiritual law strengthens intention, clarifies purpose, and ensures that creative energy flows in harmony with life rather than against it. Words spoken in faith, actions performed with integrity, and thoughts guided by higher principles cultivate resonance with inner power and facilitate manifestation in life circumstances. Affirmation and visualization reinforce the alignment process. Affirmations repeated consistently bridge conscious thought and subconscious acceptance, directing mental energy toward desired outcomes. Visualization of harmonious alignment. Seeing oneself thinking clearly, speaking constructively, and acting intentionally strengthens integration and accelerates the emergence of coherence. This combination of mental and practical exercise activates latent power, ensuring that the wonder child expresses potential fully. Regular reflection is critical to sustaining alignment. Observing the effects of thought, speech, and action on life outcomes provides insight into effectiveness, reveals areas for adjustment, and reinforces discipline. Reflection strengthens self-awareness, enhances emotional mastery, and solidifies the connection between conscious intention and tangible result. Over time, this continuous practice cultivates automatic coherence, making alignment a habitual state rather than an intermittent effort. The transformative power of aligning thought, word, and action is evident in multiple dimensions of life. Mentally, clarity increases, focus sharpens, and creative capacity expands. Emotionally, consistency generates confidence, reduces internal conflict, and enhances resilience. Spiritually, alignment nurtures connection to inner guidance, deepens trust in universal principles, and strengthens faith. Behaviorally, aligned actions manifest constructive outcomes, reinforce belief, and communicate authenticity to the external world. The interplay of these dimensions reflects the full awakening of inner power and the active presence of the wonder child. Emmet Fox emphasized the creative influence of words as a direct extension of thought. Constructive speech magnifies intention, supports transformation, and establishes the foundation for manifestation. Words act as tools to direct energy, communicate vision, and reinforce belief. Misalignment between thought and speech disrupts energy flow, generating internal friction and reducing effectiveness. Conscious cultivation of verbal expression transforms ordinary communication into a powerful instrument for life creation. Biblical principles underscore the importance of alignment. James 3 verse 5 illustrates the tremendous impact of the tongue and, by extension, coherent expression of thought and intention. Words, though small, possess the capacity to shape personal experience, influence others, and manifest outcomes consistent with inner belief. Integration of this principle with conscious thought and intentional behavior creates a powerful framework for personal transformation, supporting spiritual awakening, creativity, and the expression of latent power. Exercises for daily practice include conscious morning reflection, where intentions are clarified, verbal affirmation of constructive beliefs, mindful observation of speech throughout the day, and review of actions each evening to identify areas of misalignment. Over time, these practices cultivate coherence, reinforce mental discipline, and activate the creative potential of thought, word, and deed. The wonder child, once nurtured through alignment, expresses freely and effectively, demonstrating intuition, creativity, resilience, and joy. Alignment of thought, word, and action is not a static achievement, but an ongoing practice. Life presents continuous challenges, requiring adaptive awareness, reflection, and adjustment. The more consistently alignment is practiced, the stronger the flow of inner power becomes, enhancing the ability to create constructive experiences, navigate challenges, and express authentic self. This continuous cultivation ensures that the latent potential within each individual is fully realized, activating the wonder child as a living presence of creativity, insight, and empowerment. Cultivating intuition and inner guidance. Intuition is the natural language of the soul, a subtle but powerful form of guidance that directs thought, emotion, and action in alignment with purpose and inner truth. Emmet Fox emphasized the importance of listening to this quiet, still voice within, noting that the guidance it provides is consistent with spiritual law and personal potential. Intuition is distinct from reactive thought or emotion. It is not a product of fear, desire, or conditioned habit, but a clear channel of inner wisdom, directing the wonder child toward growth, creativity, and authentic expression. Understanding intuition begins with recognizing it as a form of inner knowing rather than logical reasoning. While the conscious mind processes information sequentially and analytically, intuition operates holistically, integrating subtle cues, experiences, and spiritual insight. Intuitive guidance often manifests as sudden clarity, subtle impressions, or a deep sense of knowing that transcends ordinary reasoning. Emmet Fox highlighted that the soul communicates quietly and consistently. Learning to discern this communication requires stillness, observation, and trust. Differentiating intuition from fear or desire is essential. Fear arises from perceived threats and is typically reactive, urgent, and focused on avoidance. Desire emerges from attachment, expectation, or the pursuit of gratification. Both fear and desire can masquerade as intuition, creating confusion and misalignment. Intuition, in contrast, feels calm, centered, and aligned with truth and purpose. It encourages constructive action, reflects integrity, and resonates with internal peace. Developing the ability to distinguish between these influences ensures that guidance comes from the soul rather than conditioned reactions or external pressure. The biblical principle reinforces the validity of intuition as divine guidance. John 10 verse 27 states, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." This passage illustrates that those attuned to inner guidance recognize the voice of divine wisdom and respond with trust and obedience. The wonder child, representing curiosity, creativity, and receptivity, thrives when aligned with this inner voice. Spiritual awareness strengthens this connection, allowing intuitive insight to guide thought, word, and action. Practices to strengthen intuitive capacity focus on cultivating awareness, stillness, and receptivity. Meditation is a primary tool. Through regular meditation, the mind is quieted, reducing the noise of fear, desire, and reactive thinking. This quiet space allows the subtle voice of the soul to emerge. Observing thoughts and emotions during meditation without attachment enhances discernment, making it easier to identify the gentle nudges of intuition amid the chatter of the mind. Journaling is another effective practice. Recording intuitive impressions, insights, and guidance as they arise reinforces awareness and builds trust in internal signals. By tracking patterns, outcomes, and confirmations, the individual learns to recognize consistent messages from the soul. Over time, journaling strengthens confidence in intuitive guidance, enhancing clarity, decision-making, and alignment with higher purpose. Mindfulness, or present moment awareness, also sharpens intuition. By attending fully to current experiences, sensations, and internal states, subtle cues are more easily perceived. Mindfulness helps differentiate between reactive impulses and genuine guidance, allowing the wonder child to navigate choices with clarity and authenticity. Observing physical sensations, emotional responses, or sudden mental clarity provides valuable information, signaling intuitive insight from the soul. Visualization exercises support intuitive development by creating mental space to receive guidance. By imagining scenarios and allowing insight to emerge naturally, the mind practices discernment between authentic intuition and conditioned thinking. Visualization also reinforces alignment with inner truth, strengthening confidence in the guidance received and enabling more decisive, purposeful action. Affirmation and intention setting amplify intuitive awareness. Emmet Fox taught that the mind responds to repeated constructive thought, establishing new patterns in the subconscious. Affirming openness to guidance, clarity in decision-making, and receptivity to inner wisdom primes the mind to recognize intuitive signals. Combined with meditation and mindfulness, these practices create a coherent internal environment conducive to intuitive perception. Trust is the essential component of cultivating intuition. Guidance from the soul is often subtle, requiring patience and confidence in one's internal knowing. Doubt, fear, or reliance solely on external validation weakens receptivity. Developing trust involves taking small, deliberate actions based on intuitive insight, observing outcomes, and reinforcing belief in the reliability of inner guidance. Each confirmed insight strengthens faith and builds the capacity to respond to more complex or subtle guidance. Discernment is also critical. Not every thought or feeling arises from the soul. Some are conditioned, reactive, or influenced by external input. Discernment involves evaluating the source, emotional tone, and alignment of impressions with spiritual principles and personal integrity. Intuition is constructive, centered, and often accompanied by a sense of peace. By cultivating discernment, the individual learns to act from guidance rather than react to transient impulses, enhancing alignment, creativity, and personal power. Intuition is closely linked with creativity. The wonder child, when attuned to inner guidance, naturally expresses ideas, solutions, and inspiration that transcend ordinary thought. Intuitive insight often provides innovative approaches, novel perspectives, and unexpected opportunities. By nurturing intuition, individuals activate latent potential, expand problem-solving capacity, and engage in life with curiosity, openness, and confidence. Integration of intuitive practice with emotional mastery and self-awareness enhances effectiveness. Emotional stability reduces noise that can obscure subtle signals, while self-awareness clarifies internal patterns, enabling recognition of genuine guidance. Alignment of thought, word, and action ensures that intuitive insight is translated into constructive, coherent action. Together, these practices create a reliable internal framework for conscious creation, decision-making, and expression of inner power. Spiritual alignment amplifies intuitive perception. By maintaining connection with divine principles, universal law, and the guidance of the soul, individuals create an internal environment in which intuition operates with clarity and precision. Prayer, meditation, and mindfulness deepen receptivity, reinforcing trust and allowing the wonder child to function as a conscious agent of creativity, insight, and inspired action. Practical exercises for cultivating intuition include daily meditation to quiet the mind, reflective journaling of insights, conscious observation of emotional and physical signals, and testing intuitive impressions through small, deliberate actions. Over time, these practices strengthen recognition, trust, and the ability to act in alignment with guidance, activating latent potential and empowering authentic self-expression. Cultivating intuition is a continuous process. The more consistently the mind is trained to listen, observe, and discern, the stronger the connection to the soul becomes. Life experiences serve as feedback, confirming the accuracy and value of intuitive insight. The wonder child thrives in this environment, expressing creativity, curiosity, and joy as guidance is received and integrated into conscious action. The ultimate effect of cultivating intuition and inner guidance is freedom. The freedom to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and authenticity. Decisions are informed by inner wisdom rather than reactive patterns or external influence. Challenges are met with insight and resilience, and creativity and purpose flow naturally from alignment with the soul. The wonder child is awakened, manifesting inner power as intuitive insight, inspired action, and joyful expression, demonstrating the practical and spiritual benefits of cultivating inner guidance. The art of visualization and imagination. Visualization and imagination are powerful tools for awakening the inner wonder child and activating latent spiritual power. Emmet Fox emphasized that the mind is creative and that imagination, when disciplined and aligned with spiritual principles, becomes a direct instrument of manifestation. The process of visualization allows the individual to translate thought into energetic patterns that shape life experience, connecting the inner world of possibility with external reality. By engaging imagination constructively, the wonder child expresses creativity, insight, and spiritual alignment in tangible outcomes. Visualization begins with mental clarity. The mind is a fertile ground where ideas, intentions, and beliefs are planted. Emmet Fox described thought as the seed and visualization as the process of nurturing that seed into full expression. When a mind focuses clearly on a desired outcome, the subconscious mind receives a blueprint for manifestation. The clearer and more vivid the mental image, the more effectively it aligns thought, emotion, and intention with spiritual law, facilitating actualization in the physical world. Imagination serves as the bridge between the conscious mind and inner guidance. The wonder child thrives in imaginative exploration, which fosters creativity, problem-solving, and intuitive insight. Through imagination, the mind can explore possibilities beyond present limitations, envision ideal outcomes, and cultivate emotional resonance with desired states. Emmet Fox emphasized that imaginative power is not mere fantasy. It is a tool for creating reality in accordance with divine principles. Imagination aligned with intention transforms potential into action, reinforcing the expression of inner power. Spiritual alignment is essential in visualization. Visualization exercises are most effective when anchored in constructive thought, faith, and ethical principles. Aligning mental imagery with truth, love, and purpose ensures that imagination does not manifest fear, attachment, or selfish desire. The goal is to create mental experiences that reflect harmony, abundance, health, and growth, generating energetic patterns consistent with spiritual law. This alignment activates the creative potential of the mind and harmonizes energy with universal principles. Practical visualization exercises begin with clarity of intention. Identify a specific goal, desire, or area of growth, such as health, abundance, personal development, or spiritual alignment. Once the objective is clear, create a detailed mental image of the desired state. Engage all senses in the process. See, hear, feel, and even imagine subtle details, allowing the mind and subconscious to internalize the experience as if it is already real. Emotional engagement is critical, as feeling amplifies energetic resonance and strengthens manifestation. For growth and self-mastery, visualization can be used to imagine oneself embodying desired qualities such as confidence, resilience, creativity, or joy. Picture behaviors, thought patterns, and emotional states aligned with these qualities. Imagine daily interactions, decision-making, and personal habits reflecting the best version of oneself. This process trains the subconscious mind to adopt new patterns, reinforcing constructive behavior and aligning action with intention. Visualization for health involves imagining the body in perfect balance, vitality, and energy. Visualize cells regenerating, energy flowing freely, and the body responding positively to life's demands. Emmet Fox encouraged focusing on constructive, positive imagery rather than dwelling on illness or limitation. By seeing the body whole and functioning optimally, the mind sends coherent instructions to the subconscious, supporting natural healing and well-being. Manifestation of abundance follows a similar process. Visualize financial, relational, or creative abundance as already present. See opportunities, resources, and connections unfolding naturally. Imagine interactions, achievements, and experiences consistent with this abundance. Feel gratitude and joy as if the desired outcome is already realized. The combined clarity of thought, emotional resonance, and mental focus amplifies manifestation, creating energetic alignment with opportunities and favorable circumstances. Habakkuk 2 verse 2 reinforces the biblical principle of clarity and intentionality in visualization. Write the vision. Make it plain. Writing or sketching visions strengthens focus and internalization, creating a tangible representation of intention. By documenting desired outcomes, individuals clarify mental images, anchor intention, and provide a reference point for reflection and adjustment. This practice integrates conscious intention with visualization, enhancing the efficacy of imaginative exercises. Daily repetition of visualization solidifies alignment. Morning or evening sessions, even brief, reinforce focus and strengthen the energetic imprint of mental imagery. Combining visualization with meditation or mindfulness enhances clarity and reduces internal resistance. Over time, repeated practice trains the mind to recognize opportunities consistent with envisioned outcomes, strengthens trust in inner guidance, and accelerates the expression of latent potential. Faith and expectation are essential components. Visualization is not passive daydreaming. It requires belief in the possibility and alignment of thought with spiritual principles. Emmet Fox emphasized that faith directs creative energy. Visualization paired with confidence in the outcome, emotional engagement, and constructive thought creates conditions for manifestation. The mind becomes a conduit for aligning intention with universal law, transforming imagined outcomes into lived reality. Integration with other practices enhances visualization's effectiveness. Self-awareness allows recognition of subconscious blocks that may hinder manifestation. Emotional mastery ensures that feelings such as doubt, fear, or frustration do not distort the process. Alignment of thought, word, and action ensures that internal intention is mirrored in external behavior. Spiritual connection reinforces alignment with divine guidance, amplifying the potency of imaginative practice. Visualization also nurtures the development of intuition. As the mind practices creating coherent mental images and focusing on constructive outcomes, subtle intuitive insights emerge. The wonder child, through imaginative engagement, becomes attuned to guidance from the soul, identifying pathways and opportunities aligned with purpose. Imagination and intuition work in tandem, creating a feedback loop that strengthens creativity, insight, and constructive action. Emotional engagement amplifies the power of visualization. Feeling the joy, peace, gratitude, or excitement associated with the desired outcome creates resonance in the subconscious mind. Emotions act as amplifiers, reinforcing belief, energizing intention, and increasing receptivity to opportunities. The combined effect of clear thought, vivid imagery, and emotional resonance establishes a powerful energetic framework for manifestation. Visualization cultivates resilience and focus. By repeatedly engaging with positive outcomes, the mind becomes oriented toward possibility rather than limitation. Mental rehearsal of constructive scenarios strengthens confidence, reduces fear, and clarifies pathways to achievement. This practice fosters consistency, reinforces alignment, and trains the subconscious to respond proactively to challenges, supporting the full expression of the wonder child. Incorporating imagination into daily life extends the benefits of formal visualization. Creative problem-solving, mental rehearsal of interpersonal interactions, and envisioning solutions to challenges activate the same constructive energy. Imagination, when disciplined and directed by spiritual principles, becomes a continuous tool for manifestation, guiding thought, word, and action in alignment with purpose. The ultimate effect of visualization and imagination is the activation of latent inner power. Thought, emotion, and action align with intention. The wonder child expresses creativity, curiosity, and resilience, and the individual experiences greater clarity, joy, and effectiveness. Emmet Fox emphasized that imagination, properly focused, transforms life, demonstrating that the inner world of vision directly shapes the outer reality. Living in the present moment. Living in the present moment is central to awakening the wonder child and fully accessing inner power. Emmet Fox emphasized that life is experienced and created in the present. Past regrets and future anxieties distract from the energy and opportunities available now. The present moment is the space in which thought, word, and action converge, and where the latent potential within each individual can be consciously expressed. By cultivating awareness of the present, individuals free themselves from the limitations imposed by dwelling on the past or anticipating the future, allowing spiritual, mental, and emotional alignment to flourish. Attachment to past failures is one of the greatest obstacles to present moment living. Memories of mistakes, regrets, or perceived shortcomings often create guilt, shame, and hesitation. These emotional burdens anchor attention in times that no longer exist, preventing engagement with current opportunities and experiences. Emmet Fox taught that the past has no creative power over the present. Only thought and intention exercised now can shape reality. By releasing identification with past failures, individuals liberate energy for constructive action, growth, and self-expression. Future anxieties similarly constrain the mind and heart. Worry about outcomes, fear of uncertainty, and preoccupation with what might occur create tension and reduce clarity. Anticipation of problems that may never materialize diverts focus from constructive effort and obscures intuitive guidance. Fox emphasized that fear of the future is a mental construct, and conscious attention to the present redirects energy toward productive and meaningful action. By cultivating trust in the unfolding of life and in divine guidance, individuals reduce anxiety and strengthen alignment with inner purpose. Mindfulness is a primary technique for cultivating present moment awareness. Mindfulness involves observing thought, emotion, and sensation without judgment or attachment. By attending fully to what is happening now, breath, bodily sensations, surroundings, and interactions, the mind disengages from habitual preoccupation with past or future. This focused attention allows insight, clarity, and creativity to emerge, providing a stable foundation for conscious thought, intentional speech, and aligned action. Mindfulness fosters the realization that life is always lived in the now, and that every moment is an opportunity for awakening and expression of the wonder child. Breath-focused awareness supports present moment living. Conscious attention to the breath anchors the mind, calming mental chatter and centering awareness in the body. Emmet Fox highlighted the importance of connecting with the simple realities of life to access inner peace. Focusing on breath serves as a practical tool to disengage from past regrets or future worries, creating space for clarity, presence, and spiritual alignment. Regular breath work reinforces mental discipline, emotional balance, and receptivity to intuition and guidance. Conscious engagement in daily activities strengthens presence. Whether walking, working, or interacting with others, full attention to the task at hand reduces distraction and cultivates awareness. Observing sensations, thoughts, and emotions while performing simple tasks transforms ordinary activities into exercises in mindfulness. By immersing in the present moment, individuals strengthen mental focus, emotional regulation, and spiritual attunement, allowing the wonder child to engage with life's experiences fully and creatively. Emotional awareness is closely tied to present moment living. Emotions arising from past experiences or future anticipation can dominate thought and behavior if unexamined. Observing feelings as they arise in the present allows insight into underlying patterns and constructive redirection. By acknowledging and releasing attachment to reactive emotions, the individual enhances clarity, emotional freedom, and resilience. Emotional mastery in the present reinforces alignment with thought, word, and action, supporting the expression of inner power. The practice of non-judgmental observation is essential. Past experiences and future possibilities are not inherently harmful. Attachment and judgment create limitation. Observing thoughts and feelings without labeling them as good or bad cultivates equanimity and reduces internal resistance. This neutral awareness fosters clarity, allowing insight and intuitive guidance to emerge. The mind, freed from unnecessary distraction, becomes a tool for conscious creation, and the wonder child thrives in an environment of openness, curiosity, and presence. Fox emphasized that life is lived in the present, not in regrets or fears. Every moment contains the opportunity to align with purpose, engage creatively, and express latent potential. Past mistakes cannot be changed, and future events are unknown. Only the present offers a space for deliberate thought, constructive action, and spiritual engagement. Recognizing this truth shifts focus from limitation to possibility, fostering empowerment and freedom. Biblical guidance reinforces this principle. Matthew 6, verse 34 states, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." This passage emphasizes that preoccupation with the future diminishes the ability to engage constructively in the present. By focusing on today, individuals cultivate awareness, trust, and intentionality. Present moment engagement is both practical and spiritual, allowing alignment with divine timing, guidance, and opportunity. Practical exercises for cultivating presence include setting daily intentions, pausing periodically to observe breath and bodily sensations, and practicing focused attention during routine activities. Journaling reflections on moments of awareness reinforces learning and highlights areas where attention drifts. Meditation sessions, even brief, cultivate the ability to return to the present when the mind wanders. Over time, these practices strengthen the habit of present moment living, fostering clarity, creativity, and inner power. Gratitude amplifies present moment awareness. By consciously appreciating current experiences, surroundings, and relationships, attention shifts from what was lost or feared to what exists now. Gratitude strengthens alignment of thought and emotion, cultivates joy, and enhances receptivity to opportunities. Emmet Fox emphasized that recognition of blessings and possibilities in the present moment attracts positive outcomes, reinforcing the creative power of conscious thought. Integration of present moment awareness with other practices, self-awareness, emotional mastery, visualization, and intuition, enhances the effectiveness of each. Mindfulness strengthens observation, emotional clarity supports constructive response, and visualization integrates intention with current action. The wonder child, fully engaged in the now, expresses creativity, resilience, and insight, navigating life with clarity, purpose, and joy. Living in the present moment transforms perception. Challenges are experienced as opportunities for growth. Past mistakes become lessons rather than burdens, and the future is approached with trust rather than fear. Every moment becomes a canvas for conscious creation, and every action an expression of inner potential. The mind, freed from attachment, aligns with higher principles, activating latent energy and supporting the manifestation of spiritual, emotional, and creative power. The cumulative effect of present moment living is empowerment. Thought, word, and action are coherent. Emotions are managed constructively, and spiritual guidance is more accessible. The wonder child thrives in an environment of awareness and engagement, expressing creativity, intuition, and joy. Life becomes an ongoing opportunity for alignment, conscious creation, and the awakening of inner potential, demonstrating the profound power of living fully in the present. The power of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for awakening the wonder child and activating inner power. It is not merely a polite acknowledgement of what is pleasant or convenient, but a profound spiritual practice that transforms perception, emotion, and experience. Emmet Fox emphasized that gratitude opens the mind and heart to the flow of divine energy, cultivating joy, abundance, and constructive thought. Gratitude is the key to abundance and joy. By practicing gratitude consistently, individuals shift their focus from limitation and scarcity to appreciation and abundance, creating an internal environment where spiritual, mental, and emotional power can flourish. Gratitude functions as a lens through which life is perceived. Without conscious appreciation, the mind tends to focus on what is lacking, creating feelings of dissatisfaction, fear, and desire. By actively acknowledging blessings, large or small, attention is redirected toward positive experience, reinforcing constructive thought and emotional balance. Emmet Fox taught that this shift is not superficial but transformative. Gratitude retrains the mind to recognize and attract favorable conditions, reinforcing alignment with spiritual law. The transformative effect of gratitude begins with awareness. Observing daily experiences and identifying elements of life for which one is thankful cultivates mindfulness and presence. Gratitude directs attention to what is available, what is working, and what brings joy, diminishing attachment to past disappointments or anxieties about the future. This conscious recognition nurtures resilience, optimism, and clarity, allowing the wonder child to engage with life fully and creatively. Daily gratitude exercises enhance the effectiveness of the practice. One exercise involves listing 3 to 5 things for which you're grateful each morning or evening. These can include simple experiences, relationships, accomplishments, or personal qualities. The process of writing or verbalizing gratitude strengthens awareness, engages emotion, and communicates appreciation to the subconscious mind. Over time, this habit fosters a natural orientation toward abundance rather than scarcity, reshaping internal thought patterns and emotional responses. Another exercise involves the deliberate expression of gratitude throughout the day. This may include silently acknowledging moments of joy, beauty, or opportunity, or expressing thanks to others for their presence, support, or kindness. By consciously recognizing blessings as they occur, individuals reinforce the perception of abundance and cultivate a continuous flow of constructive thought and feeling. Emmet Fox emphasized that gratitude multiplies blessings. The act of acknowledgement amplifies energy and invites further positive experience. Gratitude also functions as an antidote to comparison and envy. When the mind focuses on what others possess or on perceived deficiencies, dissatisfaction arises. Practicing gratitude reorients attention to personal abundance and unique gifts. By consistently appreciating what exists in one's own life, individuals diminish destructive comparison, cultivate self-acceptance, and strengthen connection with spiritual guidance. This orientation supports the expression of the wonder child through creativity, joy, and authentic contribution. Emotional engagement is crucial in the practice of gratitude. Feeling gratitude fully, rather than treating it as a mechanical exercise, amplifies its transformative power. Emotion acts as a multiplier of thought. The energy of genuine appreciation aligns mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions, enhancing coherence and manifesting positive outcomes. Gratitude, thus, becomes both a mental discipline and a heartfelt experience, reinforcing alignment between inner intention and outer reality. Spiritual alignment is central to the practice of gratitude. Recognizing life as a gift from divine source and acknowledging the guidance and blessings present in each moment fosters humility, faith, and receptivity. Gratitude is not limited to favorable circumstances. Emmet Fox taught that acknowledging lessons and challenges as part of life's unfolding strengthens resilience and perspective. By giving thanks even in adversity, individuals cultivate trust in divine timing, release resistance, and maintain alignment with spiritual principles. Biblical guidance reinforces the transformative nature of gratitude. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18 states, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." This passage emphasizes that gratitude is not dependent on external conditions, but is an intentional response to life itself. By practicing consistent thanksgiving, individuals align with divine will, foster spiritual receptivity, and create an internal environment conducive to joy, abundance, and personal transformation. Gratitude enhances relationships and social connection. Recognizing and expressing appreciation for others strengthens bonds, fosters empathy, and encourages cooperative energy. The practice of thanking others for their contributions, presence, or support amplifies positive emotional exchange, cultivating environments that support collective growth, creativity, and alignment with higher principles. Gratitude thus extends its transformative power beyond the individual, affecting interpersonal and communal experience. Visualization combined with gratitude further strengthens manifestation. By imagining desired outcomes or personal goals and mentally acknowledging appreciation as if they have already been realized, individuals engage both the conscious and subconscious mind. This dual engagement reinforces belief, emotional resonance, and alignment with intention. Emmet Fox emphasized that creative thought is strengthened when combined with feeling. Gratitude infuses visualization with constructive energy, enhancing manifestation of growth, abundance, and well-being. Gratitude also fosters mental clarity. Focusing on appreciation reduces rumination, obsessive worry, and negative thinking. The mind, when oriented toward blessings and constructive perception, develops resilience, focus, and insight. By consciously choosing appreciation over complaint or criticism, individuals reclaim mental energy, redirect it toward intentional creation, and strengthen alignment of thought, word, and action. Integration with other spiritual practices magnifies the benefits of gratitude. Mindfulness, meditation, visualization, and emotional mastery are reinforced when practiced alongside conscious thanksgiving. Awareness of present blessings enhances mindfulness. Emotional regulation strengthens receptivity to abundance, and visualization becomes more vivid and emotionally resonant. The wonder child, nurtured through gratitude, expresses creativity, joy, and aligned action with greater clarity and consistency. Practical steps for cultivating gratitude include keeping a daily journal of appreciation, verbalizing thanks to others, reflecting on lessons within challenges, and mentally rehearsing acknowledgement of blessings throughout the day. Over time, these practices rewire the mind and heart, creating a natural orientation toward abundance, joy, and purposeful action. The individual experiences increased clarity, energy, and alignment with inner power, demonstrating the transformative effect of consistent gratitude. The cumulative effect of gratitude is empowerment. By shifting perspective from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to appreciation, the individual strengthens emotional stability, spiritual alignment, and creative capacity. Life becomes a continuous unfolding of opportunity and joy, and the latent energy of the wonder child is fully activated. Gratitude opens the mind to receive, the heart to give, and the spirit to express freely, manifesting abundance, purpose, and authentic fulfillment. Overcoming resistance and fear. Resistance and fear are among the most significant obstacles to awakening the wonder child and realizing inner power. They manifest as mental, emotional, and energetic barriers that prevent the expression of latent potential. Emmet Fox emphasized that fear is always an illusion of the mind and that overcoming it requires conscious effort, alignment with spiritual principles, and trust in divine guidance. By recognizing and transforming resistance and fear, individuals free themselves to act in accordance with purpose, clarity, and creativity. Internal resistance often arises when the mind clings to comfort, familiar patterns, or limiting beliefs. Change, whether in thought, behavior, or spiritual awareness, naturally encounters inertia. Resistance may present as procrastination, self-doubt, rationalization, or avoidance. The mind resists leaving known territory, even when growth and fulfillment require new perspectives and actions. Awareness of resistance is the first step toward overcoming it. By observing thoughts, emotions, and patterns without judgment, the individual identifies areas where fear or comfort blocks progress. Fear is closely linked to resistance. Fear can manifest as anxiety about failure, worry about outcomes, doubt about one's ability, or apprehension about the unknown. Emmet Fox stressed that fear is a mental construct, not an inherent reality. It is an illusion that arises when thought focuses on potential danger rather than constructive possibility. Fear operates as a signal of perceived threat, often exaggerating risk and limiting the mind's capacity to act. Recognizing fear as illusory empowers the individual to confront it consciously and transform it into constructive energy. The biblical principle in Isaiah 41 verse 10 reinforces this perspective. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. This passage highlights that divine presence accompanies every moment, providing strength and reassurance. Fear diminishes when aligned with trust in a higher power, understanding that the universe or God supports personal growth and purposeful action. Faith, therefore, acts as a counterbalance to fear, redirecting attention from limitation to possibility. Acceptance is a critical practice for overcoming resistance. Resistance often arises from denial or struggle against reality as it is. By acknowledging internal obstacles without self-judgment, individuals create space for conscious intervention. Acceptance does not imply passive resignation. It involves recognizing fear or resistance as present while maintaining commitment to purposeful action. This awareness reduces the energy invested in struggle, making it possible to redirect focus toward constructive thought, intention, and behavior. Reframing is another powerful technique. Thoughts or beliefs that generate fear can be consciously reframed to highlight opportunity, growth, and possibility. For example, fear of failure may be reframed as a chance to learn, develop resilience, and gain experience. Fear of the unknown can be reframed as an invitation to explore, innovate, and expand perspective. Emmet Fox taught that conscious thought shapes reality. By reframing fear, individuals transform internal energy from constraint to empowerment. Spiritual trust amplifies the process of moving through fear. Recognizing that life operates according to universal principles or divine guidance instills confidence in the unfolding of events. When resistance arises, trust acts as an anchor, allowing action in alignment with higher purpose even amid uncertainty. Regular spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, and affirmation reinforce this trust, creating an internal environment where fear diminishes and creative potential flourishes. Observation of physical and emotional cues enhances awareness of resistance. Fear and avoidance often manifest as tension, agitation, fatigue, or emotional withdrawal. By noting these signals, individuals identify subconscious blocks and patterns that inhibit growth. Breath work, mindfulness, and reflective meditation provide practical tools to release tension and redirect energy. Emmet Fox emphasized that the mind's energy is creative, redirecting attention away from fear toward constructive thought, and aligned action transforms limitation into opportunity. Gradual exposure is a practical method for overcoming fear. Taking deliberate, incremental steps toward challenging experiences reduces perceived threat and builds confidence. Small successes reinforce belief in capability, weaken resistance, and demonstrate the illusory nature of fear. Each step serves as evidence that fear does not control reality, strengthening the mind's capacity to act in alignment with purpose and the wonder child's expression. Affirmation and conscious thought play a central role in transforming fear. Positive affirmations, repeated consistently, replace limiting beliefs and reinforce trust, courage, and possibility. Emmet Fox highlighted the importance of persistent constructive thought. What you think about, you bring about. By directing thought toward faith, capability, and potential, the mind gradually diminishes fear and amplifies internal confidence, allowing latent power to emerge and operate effectively. Integration of emotional mastery and self-awareness enhances resilience against resistance. Emotional mastery allows the individual to observe fear without being controlled by it. Self-awareness enables recognition of patterns that trigger avoidance or hesitation. Together, these practices create a stable internal framework for confronting fear and moving through resistance with clarity, calmness, and intentionality. Visualization strengthens the ability to overcome resistance. By imagining oneself confronting fears successfully and acting with courage and confidence, the mind internalizes constructive patterns. Visualization aligns thought, emotion, and intention, creating a mental template for actual experience. This technique, combined with gratitude and present moment awareness, amplifies courage, reduces internal conflict, and fosters alignment with purpose. Emotional engagement is essential in the transformation of fear. Feeling courage, trust, and possibility strengthens alignment with constructive thought. Emmet Fox emphasized that energy follows thought. When fear is consciously replaced with faith, excitement, or curiosity, internal energy shifts from limitation to empowerment. The wonder child responds to this positive energy, expressing creativity, resilience, and joy. Overcoming resistance and fear is an ongoing practice. Life presents continuous challenges that activate habitual patterns of avoidance or anxiety. By maintaining awareness, applying acceptance, reframing negative thought, cultivating spiritual trust, and practicing gradual exposure, the individual strengthens resilience and expands capacity to act in alignment with purpose. The latent power of the wonder child is increasingly expressed as confidence, creativity, and spiritual attunement. The ultimate outcome of overcoming resistance and fear is freedom. Thought, word, and action are aligned. Emotional energy is coherent and constructive, and the mind operates in harmony with spiritual guidance. Fear no longer dictates behavior, and resistance no longer obstructs growth. Life becomes a field for conscious creation, constructive action, and authentic expression. The wonder child, liberated from the illusions of fear, manifests courage, joy, and potential in every aspect of experience. Cultivating joy in wonder. Joy is the natural state of the wonder child, representing the innate expression of spiritual, emotional, and mental alignment. Emmet Fox emphasized that happiness and joy are not dependent on external circumstances, but are cultivated as internal habits of thought and perception. Happiness is a mental habit, not external circumstance. Cultivating joy and wonder enables the individual to connect with the inner divine spark, engage with life creatively, and express latent potential fully. By developing a mindset of playfulness, gratitude, and curiosity, the wonder child thrives, experiencing life as abundant, meaningful, and spiritually resonant. The cultivation of joy begins with awareness. Many individuals tie happiness to external conditions, success, possessions, relationships, or achievements. While these experiences may bring temporary pleasure, they do not provide lasting joy. Fox emphasized that joy originates within, arising from alignment of thought, emotion, and spirit. Recognizing that joy is independent of circumstance shifts perception from limitation to abundance, allowing the mind to focus on constructive thought, gratitude, and engagement with life's possibilities. Removing conditions from happiness is central to awakening joy. Conditional happiness, dependent on external factors, creates vulnerability to disappointment, fear, and resistance. When joy is cultivated as an internal habit, it becomes a stable state accessible regardless of circumstances. Practically, this involves consciously choosing to experience appreciation, contentment, and positive emotion in each moment, regardless of challenges or setbacks. The wonder child responds naturally to this practice, expressing curiosity, playfulness, and creativity. Practices for cultivating joy and playful curiosity include mindful engagement with life's experiences, observing nature, appreciating simple pleasures, engaging in creative activity, or exploring new ideas stimulates curiosity and excitement. These practices reconnect the individual with the childlike sense of wonder inherent in the soul, reinforcing alignment between thought, emotion, and spirit. Fox highlighted that the mind, when oriented toward constructive and joyful patterns, amplifies energy, insight, and creativity. Gratitude and appreciation are foundational to joy. By recognizing and internalizing blessings in daily life, the mind cultivates positive focus and emotional balance. A daily gratitude practice, such as listing moments, experiences, or qualities for which one is thankful, reinforces the habit of joy. Feeling gratitude amplifies emotional energy, aligning the mind and heart with abundance, positivity, and receptivity to inner guidance. The wonder child flourishes in this environment, expressing creativity, resilience, and inspiration. Play and creativity are essential expressions of joy. Engaging in imaginative activities, experimentation, or spontaneous expression reinforces connection with the inner child. Emmet Fox emphasized that the mind responds to constructive energy and that creative engagement strengthens alignment with higher principles. By embracing playful curiosity, individuals nurture spontaneity, intuition, and joy, allowing latent potential to surface in thought, speech, and action. Meditation and mindfulness support the cultivation of joy by fostering present moment awareness. Joy arises naturally in the present. Preoccupation with past regrets or future anxieties diminishes the capacity to experience wonder. Mindfulness practices, including breath awareness, body scanning, and conscious observation, ground the mind in the now. This presence allows appreciation of the beauty, possibilities, and richness of each moment, nurturing both emotional and spiritual expression. Emotional mastery is critical to sustaining joy. Negative emotions such as fear, anger, or resentment obscure the natural state of happiness. By observing and transforming these emotions, the individual clears space for positive energy. Techniques such as conscious reframing, visualization, breath work, and affirmation strengthen emotional resilience, enabling joy to arise as a stable and enduring state rather than a fleeting reaction to circumstance. Affirmations are a practical tool for cultivating joy. Statements such as, "I choose joy in this moment," "My life is full of wonder and possibility," or "I embrace the gifts of today with gratitude," direct thought patterns toward positivity, reinforcing the mental habit of happiness. Emmet Fox highlighted the importance of persistent constructive thought. By consistently affirming joy, the mind internalizes this state, creating an energetic foundation for consistent emotional well-being. Biblical insight reinforces the spiritual dimension of joy. Psalm 16 verse 11 states, "In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." This verse underscores that true joy emerges from connection with the divine, the inner presence of God, or the soul. Spiritual alignment, therefore, amplifies the capacity to experience happiness as an intrinsic state rather than a reaction to external conditions. The wonder child naturally resonates with this presence, expressing playfulness, curiosity, and creative energy. Visualization enhances the cultivation of joy. By imagining scenarios filled with positivity, fulfillment, and creative exploration, the mind internalizes energetic patterns associated with happiness. Visualization can include imagining personal growth, harmonious relationships, successful endeavors, or playful exploration of new ideas. Combined with emotional engagement, this practice strengthens internal alignment, supports constructive thought, and nurtures an enduring state of joy. Integration of joy with other practices, gratitude, mindfulness, emotional mastery, and spiritual alignment magnifies its transformative effect. When present moment awareness, positive thought, and emotional coherence are combined with playful curiosity and appreciation, the wonder child flourishes. Life becomes an ongoing source of inspiration, creativity, and spiritual expression, reflecting the full potential of the inner self. Joy also functions as a magnet for abundance. Emmet Fox taught that the mind responds to energy and happiness attracts constructive experiences. By cultivating internal joy, individuals create an energetic environment conducive to positive manifestation. Relationships, opportunities, and creative solutions emerge more readily when the mind and heart are oriented toward wonder, gratitude, and playful engagement with life. The cumulative effect of cultivating joy and wonder is holistic empowerment. Thought, word, and action align. Emotion supports constructive perception, and spiritual connection reinforces purpose. The wonder child expresses freely, experiencing life as abundant, meaningful, and creatively fulfilling. Joy becomes both a state of being and an instrument of manifestation, transforming internal experience and external reality alike. In practice, cultivating joy is continuous and intentional. Daily habits of gratitude, playful engagement, mindful observation, affirmation, and spiritual connection ensure that happiness is not dependent on external circumstance. Each moment becomes an opportunity to awaken the wonder child, celebrate life's richness, and express creativity, insight, and emotional vitality. This state of joy is self-sustaining, reinforcing internal power, resilience, and alignment with higher purpose. Ultimately, the cultivation of joy and wonder is a spiritual practice, a mental habit, and an emotional orientation that liberates the mind and heart. It awakens the wonder child, allowing latent power to manifest through creativity, intuition, constructive action, and authentic expression. By embracing joy as a conscious habit, individuals experience life with fullness, curiosity, and spiritual resonance, embodying the principles taught by Emmet Fox and reflected in biblical wisdom. Faith as inner compass. Faith is the guiding force of the wonder child, serving as an internal compass that directs thought, emotion, and action toward alignment with divine principles and inner wisdom. Emmet Fox emphasized that faith is more than passive belief. It is active trust in spiritual guidance and the creative power inherent within every individual. Faith provides stability amid uncertainty, clarity in decision-making, and the confidence to act from purpose rather than fear. By cultivating faith as a conscious practice, the wonder child navigates life with clarity, courage, and constructive energy, transforming inner potential into tangible expression. Faith, in its truest sense, is distinct from mere belief. Belief may be intellectual or conditional, dependent on external validation, evidence, or outcomes. Faith, however, is experiential and transformative. It arises from a deep knowing that life is governed by spiritual principles, that guidance from the inner self or divine source is accessible, and that every moment presents opportunity for constructive action. Emmet Fox highlighted that faith connects the conscious and subconscious mind, aligning thought with the creative energy of the universe and activating latent potential. Hebrews 11 verse 1 reinforces this understanding of faith. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Faith is the foundation for manifesting intention and purpose. It enables action in the absence of complete evidence, trusting that alignment with spiritual law produces results. The wonder child thrives when guided by faith, responding to inspiration, intuition, and inner insight with confidence and clarity. Faith functions as a navigational tool through uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, and challenges, setbacks, or ambiguity are inevitable. Fear, doubt, and hesitation arise when the mind fixates on potential obstacles or limitations. Faith provides a stabilizing force, redirecting attention from fear to trust, from worry to purposeful action. By anchoring the mind in spiritual principles and the knowledge that guidance is available, individuals move through uncertainty with resilience, creativity, and alignment. Techniques to cultivate faith include affirmations, prayer, and alignment with spiritual laws. Affirmations such as, "I trust in the guidance of my inner wisdom," "I am supported by divine intelligence," or "Faith directs my thought, word, and action," reinforce trust and reprogram the subconscious mind. Regular repetition of constructive affirmations trains thought patterns, reduces doubt, and strengthens the mental and emotional foundation for conscious creation. Prayer, understood as deliberate communication with the divine or higher self, deepens faith by cultivating connection and receptivity. Prayer is not limited to requests or petitions. It is a practice of alignment, gratitude, and openness to guidance. By expressing trust and listening inwardly, individuals reinforce their connection to spiritual intelligence, enhancing confidence, clarity, and inner stability. Emmet Fox emphasized that prayer and meditation direct mental energy toward constructive channels, activating the latent power within. Alignment with spiritual laws strengthens faith by providing a reliable framework for action. Principles such as cause and effect, attraction, divine timing, and unity guide thought, word, and behavior. By observing these laws in daily life, individuals cultivate confidence in their ability to act effectively, knowing that intention aligned with principle produces results. Faith is strengthened when actions consistently produce outcomes consistent with spiritual guidance, reinforcing trust in both the self and the universal order. Faith is also experiential. Acting in alignment with guidance, even amid uncertainty, produces confirmation and strengthens belief. Emmet Fox emphasized that faith is activated through action. Trusting without proof, yet engaging in constructive steps, generates evidence of capability and alignment. The wonder child experiences growth, joy, and empowerment as faith transforms abstract trust into tangible results. Small acts of faith, repeated consistently, create momentum and reinforce confidence in inner guidance and spiritual principles. Visualization further amplifies faith. By imagining desired outcomes or experiences and mentally engaging with them as if already present, individuals strengthen belief in the achievable. Visualization bridges the gap between intention and manifestation, demonstrating to the subconscious mind that constructive outcomes are possible. Combined with emotional engagement, gratitude, and mindfulness, visualization reinforces faith, creating a coherent internal framework for conscious creation and purposeful action. Faith nurtures resilience in the face of challenges. When obstacles arise, the mind tends to focus on limitation or failure, generating doubt and fear. Faith redirects attention toward solutions, opportunity, and inner strength. By trusting in divine guidance and personal capability, individuals maintain clarity and purpose, transforming difficulty into opportunity for growth. Emmet Fox emphasized that the mind's energy is creative. Faith channels this energy toward constructive outcomes, reinforcing alignment between thought, emotion, and action. Emotional mastery is integral to sustaining faith. Doubt, worry, or emotional reactivity undermines confidence and clarity. By observing and managing emotions, the individual strengthens the capacity to act in alignment with intention, even in uncertain conditions. Emotional stability enhances receptivity to intuition and guidance, allowing faith to function as a reliable compass rather than a theoretical concept. Integration with present moment awareness and gratitude amplifies the power of faith. Mindfulness grounds attention in the now, reducing preoccupation with fear or speculation. Gratitude reinforces recognition of existing blessings and evidence of guidance, increasing confidence in the process of life. Together, These practices create an internal environment where faith can operate effectively, guiding thought, word, and action toward purposeful outcomes. Faith is both personal and spiritual. It relies on inner wisdom, intuition, and connection with the divine or higher consciousness. Emmet Fox highlighted that faith bridges human limitation and divine possibility, empowering the individual to act creatively, align with higher purpose, and manifest potential. The wonder child flourishes in an environment of trust, experiencing life as abundant, meaningful, and directed by constructive insight. Practical steps for cultivating faith include daily affirmation, meditation or prayer, conscious visualization of desired outcomes, reflection on past experiences of guidance or success, and alignment with spiritual laws in thought and action. Over time, these practices strengthen confidence in the inner compass, reduce fear and hesitation, and enhance the expression of latent potential. Faith becomes both a stabilizing influence and a creative force, enabling the individual to navigate life with clarity, purpose, and joy. The cumulative effect of faith as an inner compass is holistic empowerment. Thought, word, and action align with intention. Emotional energy is coherent and constructive, and spiritual guidance is readily accessible. The wonder child operates with confidence, creativity, and joy, translating latent potential into meaningful expression. Faith transforms uncertainty into opportunity, doubt into clarity, and intention into manifestation, demonstrating the profound power of trust in divine guidance and inner wisdom. Ultimately, cultivating faith as the inner compass enables conscious navigation through life's challenges, alignment with spiritual principles, and the realization of latent potential. Emmet Fox's teaching, reinforced by Hebrews 11 verse 1, illustrates that faith is not passive belief, but an active, creative force that directs thought, energizes emotion, and activates inner power. The wonder child thrives when guided by faith, experiencing life with clarity, joy, and purposeful expression, creating life vision and purpose. Creating a clear life vision and aligning it with purpose is essential for awakening the wonder child and activating inner power. Emmet Fox emphasized that imagination is the blueprint of reality. The ideas, thoughts, and images held in the mind shape the experiences of life. By consciously designing a personal vision rooted in wonder, creativity, and love, individuals channel latent spiritual, mental, and emotional energy toward meaningful action. A well-defined vision provides direction, inspires motivation, and fosters alignment with spiritual principles, ensuring that thought, word, and action operate harmoniously. Vision is more than a set of goals. It is the articulation of purpose and potential. Aligning life goals with inner guidance ensures that actions are coherent with the individual's innate calling, values, and spiritual essence. The wonder child responds naturally to activities and objectives that resonate with curiosity, creativity, and authentic expression. When personal vision reflects these qualities, motivation arises organically, obstacles are approached as opportunities, and the individual experiences fulfillment as a natural outcome of aligned action. Spiritual alignment is central to life vision. Goals and aspirations rooted solely in external achievement or social expectation may lead to temporary satisfaction, but rarely foster deep joy or sustained growth. Emmet Fox emphasized that creative imagination, when guided by spiritual principles, channels energy constructively. By listening to inner guidance, intuition, and the quiet voice within, individuals ensure that their vision reflects both personal calling and universal harmony. This alignment transforms ambition into purposeful action, generating outcomes that are meaningful, sustainable, and spiritually resonant. Practical exercises strengthen the process of creating a life vision. Vision boards are a powerful tool, translating imagination into visual representation. By collecting images, words, and symbols that reflect desired experiences, qualities, and achievements, individuals externalize their intentions, creating a tangible blueprint of possibility. Visualization of the vision board daily reinforces focus, emotional engagement, and alignment with subconscious patterns, amplifying the energy directed toward realization. Intention setting is another essential practice. Defining specific goals, behaviors, and outcomes in alignment with purpose transforms abstract desire into actionable direction. Effective intention setting involves clarity, emotional engagement, and repetition. Affirming intentions verbally or in writing strengthens mental and emotional coherence, directing attention and energy toward constructive outcomes. Emmet Fox highlighted that consistent, constructive thought produces corresponding experiences, emphasizing the importance of focused intention in shaping reality. Journaling complements these practices by providing a structured method for reflection, planning, and insight. Recording thoughts, ideas, and emotional responses clarifies values, reveals patterns, and highlights areas of resistance or misalignment. Journaling encourages the individual to articulate vision in detail, engage creatively with possibilities, and track progress over time. The act of writing integrates conscious intention with subconscious acceptance, reinforcing the internal blueprint that guides action and manifestation. Biblical principles reinforce the significance of vision. Proverbs 29 verse 18 states, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but happy is he who keeps the law." This verse emphasizes that purpose and direction are vital to sustaining life, motivation, and fulfillment. Vision provides orientation for thought and action, reducing distraction, indecision, and aimlessness. Aligning life with a clear purpose ensures that personal energy is directed toward constructive, meaningful outcomes rather than dissipated in confusion or indecision. Imagination plays a central role in vision creation. Emmet Fox emphasized that imagination is the tool through which the mind conceives new possibilities. By visualizing desired outcomes, exploring creative solutions, and imagining personal growth, the individual activates latent potential. The wonder child thrives in imaginative engagement, exploring possibilities without fear of limitation. Imagination allows alignment of internal energy with desired external results, creating a coherent blueprint for conscious creation. Faith and trust are essential components of vision realization. While imagination and planning provide clarity and direction, faith allows the individual to act in alignment with purpose despite uncertainty or obstacles. Emmet Fox highlighted that the mind responds to trust and constructive expectation. Faith reinforces motivation, reduces fear, and strengthens consistency in pursuing goals. By integrating faith into vision, the individual navigates challenges with resilience and maintains alignment with inner guidance. Daily practices reinforce life vision. Morning reflection, meditation, or visualization sessions provide an opportunity to connect with goals, review intentions, and align energy with purpose. Engaging with vision boards, journaling, or affirmations during these sessions ensures focus and coherence. The wonder child, activated through consistent attention to vision, expresses creativity, motivation, and joy, translating internal intention into meaningful external outcomes. Vision is also dynamic. Life is a process of continuous learning, growth, and adaptation. As experiences unfold and understanding deepens, vision may evolve to reflect expanded awareness, new passions, or spiritual insight. Emmet Fox emphasized that flexibility within purpose allows the mind to respond constructively to opportunity and challenge, maintaining alignment with principle while adapting to circumstance. The wonder child thrives in this balance of clarity and adaptability, engaging life with curiosity, creativity, and joy. Integration with gratitude, present moment awareness, and emotional mastery amplifies the effectiveness of life vision. Gratitude fosters positive emotional resonance, reinforcing motivation and energy. Present moment awareness ensures engagement with immediate steps necessary to actualize vision, while emotional mastery prevents distraction from fear, doubt, or frustration. Together, these practices support coherent thought, constructive action, and alignment with purpose. The cumulative effect of creating a life vision rooted in wonder, creativity, and love is holistic empowerment. Thought, word, and action are aligned. Emotional energy is constructive, and spiritual guidance is integrated into daily life. The Wonder Child operates freely, expressing innate potential, joy, and creativity. Vision transforms life from reactive existence to intentional, purpose-driven experience, activating latent power and manifesting meaningful outcomes in alignment with divine principles. Ultimately, creating life vision and purpose is both a spiritual and practical endeavor. It harnesses imagination, aligns with spiritual guidance, integrates constructive thought and emotion, and provides a roadmap for conscious action. Emmet Fox's teaching, reinforced by Proverbs 29 verse 18, demonstrates that vision is essential for fulfilling potential, sustaining motivation, and living with clarity, joy, and aligned purpose. The Wonder Child flourishes in this framework, experiencing life as a canvas for creative, inspired, and meaningful expression. Integrating the Wonder Child daily. Integration of the Wonder Child into daily life is the process of consistently embodying inner power, aligning thought, emotion, and action with spiritual guidance, and nurturing the latent potential within. Emmet Fox emphasized the consistent practice and habitual alignment awaken the innate creative and spiritual energy of every individual. Consistency in thought and action awakens potential. By incorporating deliberate daily practices, individuals transform abstract awareness into lived experience, allowing the Wonder Child to operate fully in all aspects of life. Embodying inner power requires attention to spiritual, emotional, and mental alignment. Spiritual alignment is nurtured through practices that connect the individual with higher guidance, divine presence, or inner wisdom. Prayer, meditation, and reflection cultivate awareness of spiritual principles and open the mind to intuitive insight. Emotional alignment involves conscious observation and regulation of feelings, transforming reactive patterns such as fear, anger, or doubt into constructive energy. Mental alignment is achieved by directing thought consistently toward clarity, purpose, and creative visualization. Together, these dimensions ensure coherent and balanced expression of the Wonder Child throughout daily life. Daily habits are the foundation of integration. The mind responds to repetition and consistency. Thoughts and actions repeated over time shape character, perception, and potential. Emmet Fox highlighted that the mind is like a garden. What is planted and nurtured will grow. Daily practices, therefore, serve as seeds, cultivating alignment, constructive thought patterns, and spiritual energy. Small, consistent actions, practiced mindfully, accumulate into profound transformation, awakening the latent power within. Conscious reflection is a primary tool for integration. Taking time each day to observe thoughts, emotions, and behaviors enhances awareness of alignment with inner purpose. Reflection involves reviewing experiences, identifying moments of constructive action, and noting areas where fear, resistance, or distraction arose. This practice fosters insight, clarity, and intentional adjustment, allowing the individual to remain on course toward personal vision and spiritual growth. Journaling, silent contemplation, or guided reflection exercises reinforce this process, creating a reliable structure for self-awareness and growth. Daily affirmations support mental and emotional alignment. Affirmations are statements of truth, intention, or constructive belief that the individual repeats consciously to influence thought patterns and internal perception. Examples include, I express my inner power with clarity and love. I trust my intuition and guidance. Or, I create my life with joy and purpose. Consistent repetition of affirmations trains the subconscious mind, reinforces faith, and directs energy toward constructive outcomes. Emmet Fox emphasized that thought is creative. By planting positive seeds through affirmations, the mind and spirit align with potential and purpose. Mindfulness practices are essential for daily integration. Mindfulness involves being fully present, observing sensations, emotions, and thoughts without judgment, and responding consciously rather than reactively. By practicing mindfulness throughout the day, while walking, eating, working, or interacting with others, the individual strengthens awareness of internal states, maintains alignment with purpose, and minimizes the influence of fear, doubt, or distraction. The wonder child thrives in an environment of attention, presence, and receptivity, expressing creativity, joy, and clarity in every moment. Integration also requires conscious engagement with the external world. Embodying the wonder child is not limited to meditation or reflection. It extends to thought, speech, and action in daily interactions. By aligning speech with truth, positivity, and constructive intention, individuals reinforce mental coherence and influence circumstances beneficially. Actions taken in alignment with spiritual principles and inner guidance express latent power, cultivate trust and intuition, and create external conditions that reflect internal harmony. Gratitude amplifies integration. Daily acknowledgement of blessings, opportunities, and lessons strengthens alignment, emotional coherence, and receptivity to guidance. Gratitude transforms perception, directing attention toward abundance and possibility rather than limitation or lack. Emmet Fox emphasized that gratitude activates creative energy. By appreciating each day and its experiences, the individual nurtures the wonder child, reinforces constructive thought, and attracts supportive conditions. Spiritual exercises, such as prayer or meditation, anchor the day. Starting or ending the day with conscious connection reinforces focus, clarity, and alignment. These practices provide grounding, strengthen faith, and facilitate integration of insights gained throughout the day. Emmet Fox highlighted that persistent engagement with spiritual practice aligns the mind with divine principles, activating latent potential and ensuring consistent expression of inner power. Practical strategies for integrating the wonder child also include structured routines that support balance and well-being. Allocating time for rest, creative expression, physical activity, and social connection ensures that energy is sustained and expressed constructively. Habits such as morning reflection, midday mindfulness breaks, and evening journaling create a rhythm that reinforces alignment and allows the wonder child to operate fully in thought, emotion, and action. Emotional mastery is central to integration. Awareness of emotional states and conscious regulation prevents reactive patterns from undermining alignment. Techniques such as breath work, visualization, or emotional labeling enable the individual to process emotions constructively, transform negative energy, and maintain clarity. The wonder child, nurtured through emotional coherence, expresses resilience, joy, and authenticity in all interactions. Faith and trust strengthen daily integration. By consciously relying on inner guidance and divine presence, individuals navigate challenges with confidence and clarity. Emmet Fox emphasized that consistent belief in the creative power within aligns thought and action with spiritual principles. Trust allows the individual to act decisively, maintain consistency in habits, and sustain alignment even amid uncertainty or external distraction. Biblical insight reinforces this practice-oriented approach. Colossians 3 verse 17 states, "Whatever you do, do it all in the name of the Lord, giving thanks to God the Father through him." This passage underscores that every action, when performed with conscious alignment and gratitude, contributes to spiritual development and manifestation of potential. Integrating the wonder child daily involves intentionally connecting ordinary tasks with purpose, mindfulness, and spiritual awareness, transforming routine activity into a vehicle for growth and expression. The cumulative effect of daily integration is holistic empowerment. Thought, word, and action operate coherently. Emotion supports constructive perception, and spiritual guidance informs decision-making. The wonder child expresses creativity, curiosity, joy, and insight consistently. Life becomes a reflection of alignment, purpose, and conscious creation, with each moment serving as an opportunity to nurture latent power and activate potential. Ultimately, integrating the wonder child daily is a process of living with intention, awareness, and consistency. By practicing reflection, affirmations, mindfulness, gratitude, and alignment with spiritual principles, the individual transforms abstract spiritual understanding into tangible, lived experience. Emmet Fox's teaching, supported by Colossians 3 verse 17, demonstrates that consistency in thought and action awakens latent power, nurtures the inner divine spark, and allows life to be expressed fully, joyfully, and purposefully. Expressing inner power in relationships. Expressing inner power in relationships is a natural extension of awakening the wonder child. Inner power is not only a personal resource, it radiates outward, influencing interactions, fostering harmony, and inspiring growth in others. Emmet Fox emphasized that the energy cultivated within, through thought, emotion, and spiritual alignment, manifests externally, shaping the quality of relationships and the environment in which we engage. Sharing love, wisdom, and creativity consciously enhances interpersonal connections, strengthens authenticity, and amplifies the transformative potential of the wonder child. Inner power in relationships begins with self-awareness. Understanding one's thoughts, emotions, and motivations is essential before projecting energy outward. Emmet Fox taught that what we radiate is a reflection of our inner state. Constructive thought, joy, and alignment produce harmonious relationships, while fear, doubt, and negativity generate tension and misunderstanding. By cultivating emotional mastery, mindfulness, and conscious reflection, individuals ensure that the energy they bring to interactions is positive, empowering, and spiritually coherent. Authenticity is central to expressing inner power in connection with others. The wonder child thrives in genuine expression, being true to values, beliefs, and feelings while remaining respectful of others' perspectives and experiences. Authenticity fosters trust, clarity, and openness in relationships, allowing mutual growth and deepened connection. Emmet Fox emphasized that authenticity is not confrontational or selfish. It aligns personal integrity with constructive engagement, ensuring that expression benefits both self and others. Love is the primary medium of inner power in relationships. Love, in this context, extends beyond affection or attachment. It is the energy of acceptance, compassion, and constructive regard. By consciously radiating love, individuals create an environment in which others feel seen, respected, and supported. Love is both a reflection of spiritual alignment and a vehicle for activating the latent potential of those we encounter. Emmet Fox highlighted that energy flows according to the nature of thought and emotion. Love amplifies positivity, cooperation, and creative expression in relational dynamics. Wisdom and guidance are expressions of inner power in constructive relationships. By sharing insights, encouragement, and perspective thoughtfully and compassionately, individuals assist others in growth without imposing control or judgment. Emmet Fox emphasized that guidance arises naturally from alignment with principle and clarity of thought. It is most effective when offered as support rather than instruction. The wonder child expresses wisdom gently, inspiring curiosity, understanding, and reflection in others. Boundaries and respect are essential components of relational power. Maintaining personal integrity while honoring others' paths ensures that expression of inner energy is balanced and sustainable. Relationships flourish when individuals recognize autonomy, avoid coercion, and act in alignment with principle rather than desire for control. Emmet Fox highlighted that constructive energy operates through freedom, clarity, and alignment. The wonder child interacts from a place of empowerment, not domination or compulsion. Conscious communication is a practical method for expressing inner power. Speech shapes perception, builds trust, and conveys intention. Emmet Fox taught that words are creative tools. When aligned with thought and spirit, they manifest positive outcomes. Speaking with clarity, compassion, and constructive intention ensures that interactions reflect the energy of the wonder child. Techniques include active listening, mindful speech, affirmation of others' strengths, and expression of gratitude and appreciation in daily interactions. Emotional resonance strengthens relational expression. By maintaining emotional coherence through mindfulness, breath work, and reflection, individuals project stability, calmness, and positive energy in interactions. This emotional presence allows others to respond constructively, creating an atmosphere of mutual respect and inspiration. The wonder child thrives in emotionally coherent environments, fostering collaboration, empathy, and creative engagement. Faith and trust are foundational to relational expression of inner power. Faith in oneself, in others, and in divine guidance ensures that interactions are grounded in constructive intention rather than fear, suspicion, or control. Emmet Fox emphasized that trust amplifies the flow of energy, enabling the wonder child to act freely, creatively, and harmoniously. When individuals approach relationships with faith, they create conditions in which love, wisdom, and authenticity naturally flourish. Conflict and challenge in relationships are opportunities for expressing inner power. Rather than reacting defensively or with judgment, individuals can approach disagreements with mindfulness, emotional mastery, and constructive communication. Emmet Fox emphasized that inner power transforms adversity into growth. By responding thoughtfully, maintaining perspective, and aligning action with principle, conflicts become occasions for clarity, learning, and deeper connection. Gratitude enhances relational energy. Recognizing the positive qualities, efforts, and contributions of others fosters appreciation, strengthens trust, and reinforces constructive patterns. Emmet Fox highlighted that gratitude amplifies spiritual and emotional energy. By expressing appreciation consciously, individuals cultivate environments in which the wonder child thrives. Daily practices of acknowledgement and affirmation reinforce positive relational dynamics, creating a cycle of constructive energy, inspiration, and mutual growth. Biblical insight reinforces the spiritual dimension of relational expression. Matthew 5 verse 16 states, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." This verse underscores that inner power is intended to be expressed outwardly, influencing and inspiring others while reflecting spiritual alignment. The wonder child, when allowed to shine authentically, contributes to collective well-being and manifests divine potential in relational contexts. Practical exercises for integrating relational expression include reflecting on daily interactions to identify moments of alignment and misalignment, practicing active listening and mindful communication, consciously expressing gratitude and appreciation, and affirming one's intention to act from love, wisdom, and authenticity. Visualization of positive relational outcomes strengthens intention and reinforces emotional resonance, while journaling insights enhances clarity and awareness of patterns in interaction. The cumulative effect of expressing inner power in relationships is transformative. Thought, emotion, and action operate coherently, creating harmonious interactions that reflect internal alignment. The wonder child expresses creativity, joy, and authenticity consistently, inspiring others while reinforcing personal growth. Relationships become a medium for the manifestation of latent potential, mutual learning, and spiritual expression. Ultimately, expressing inner power in relationships is an act of conscious creation. It requires self-awareness, authenticity, love, wisdom, and alignment with principle. Emmet Fox's teaching, reinforced by Matthew 5 verse 16, demonstrates that internal energy, when projected thoughtfully and compassionately, transforms interactions, inspires growth, and manifests the latent potential of the wonder child. By nurturing relational expression, individuals experience deeper connection, fulfillment, and the joyful radiance of aligned, empowered living. The ongoing journey, awakening fully. Awakening the wonder child is not a one-time event or a finite accomplishment. It is a continuous journey of spiritual and personal growth, a lifelong process of expanding consciousness, refining thought, and aligning with inner power. Emmet Fox emphasized that spiritual awakening is not a destination, but an ongoing process, a practice that unfolds gradually as individuals engage consistently with awareness, reflection, and constructive action. The wonder child accompanies this journey, guiding thought, word, and action while illuminating the path toward joy, creativity, and inner mastery. Life itself presents endless opportunities for awakening. Every experience, interaction, and challenge serves as a mirror reflecting the state of the mind and spirit. Moments of difficulty, discomfort, or uncertainty are invitations for introspection, transformation, and alignment with higher principles. By recognizing life as a dynamic classroom, individuals cultivate patience, resilience, and wisdom, allowing the wonder child to emerge naturally and consistently. Emmet Fox highlighted that the mind is creative. Every thought, emotion, and choice contributes to the unfolding of inner potential. Practice is the foundation of ongoing awakening. Daily engagement with spiritual, mental, and emotional exercises reinforces alignment with purpose, strengthens awareness, and nurtures latent potential. Practices such as meditation, prayer, affirmations, journaling, visualization, and mindfulness provide structured opportunities for reflection and conscious growth. Emmet Fox emphasized that persistent, focused practice activates the latent power within, enabling the wonder child to operate fully in thought, word, and deed. Each repetition, each moment of mindful attention contributes cumulatively to spiritual maturation. Reflection is a critical tool for sustaining progress. Conscious observation of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors allows the individual to identify patterns, recognize growth, and note areas requiring adjustment. Reflection encourages humility, self-awareness, and alignment with principle, preventing stagnation or repetition of unconstructive habits. Emmet Fox taught that understanding the inner mechanisms of thought and belief is essential for transformation. Without reflection, the mind remains subject to habitual patterns rather than conscious creation. Patience is integral to the ongoing journey. Awakening unfolds over time, and immediate transformation is rare. The wonder child develops through gradual refinement of thought, emotional mastery, and consistent alignment with spiritual principles. Emmet Fox emphasized that life operates according to universal laws and divine timing. Rushing the process or succumbing to frustration undermines progress. Patience allows the individual to honor the rhythm of growth, embrace incremental successes, and cultivate trust in both inner guidance and divine timing. The wonder child serves as a lifelong companion and guide. This inner presence, representing creativity, joy, intuition, and spiritual insight, illuminates the path toward alignment and purpose. By listening to this inner voice and engaging with it consistently, individuals access clarity, inspiration, and constructive energy. Emmet Fox highlighted the importance of attunement to inner guidance, asserting that consistent engagement strengthens connection, refines intuition, and amplifies the capacity to act with wisdom, courage, and love. Spiritual awakening is holistic, encompassing mental, emotional, and physical dimensions. Thought must be directed constructively, emotion aligned with purpose, and action consistent with principle. Emmet Fox emphasized the integration of these aspects, noting that imbalance in any domain limits the expression of inner power. A fully awakened life involves coherence across mind, heart, and behavior, allowing the wonder child to operate freely, creatively, and effectively. Daily practices, reflection, and conscious attention reinforce this holistic alignment, transforming ordinary life into a medium for spiritual expression. Challenges and setbacks are integral to the journey. Resistance, fear, doubt, and external obstacles provide opportunities for growth, testing faith, patience, and resilience. Emmet Fox highlighted that spiritual advancement is not defined by the absence of difficulty, but by the capacity to respond constructively. Viewing challenges as invitations for growth allows the wonder child to develop courage, insight, and resourcefulness. Each challenge overcome strengthens confidence, reinforces alignment, and deepens the integration of inner power into daily life. Faith, trust, and gratitude are essential companions on this ongoing journey. Faith maintains trust in the unfolding of life and the guidance of the inner self or divine presence. Trust sustains action in alignment with purpose, even amid uncertainty or adversity. Gratitude amplifies energy, reinforces positive perception, and cultivates joy, fostering a supportive environment for the wonder child to flourish. Emmet Fox emphasized that faith and gratitude are creative forces. By embracing them, the individual strengthens alignment and ensures the consistent expression of inner power. Biblical insight underscores the continuous nature of spiritual growth. Philippians 1 verse 6 states, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." This passage reminds us that awakening is a process guided by divine presence and purpose. Growth is continuous, and the unfolding of potential occurs within the context of support, timing, and divine orchestration. The wonder child develops within this ongoing framework, gradually manifesting its gifts, creativity, and joy in alignment with higher principles. Integration of all previous practices consolidates awakening. Daily attention to thought, emotional mastery, mindfulness, gratitude, joy, faith, vision, and relational expression creates coherence and alignment. Emmet Fox emphasized that the cumulative effect of consistent, focused practice transforms life itself into a medium for the expression of inner power. The wonder child becomes fully engaged, not only in spiritual contemplation, but in practical, creative, and relational action, reflecting inner alignment outwardly. The ongoing journey emphasizes balance between effort and receptivity. Action, diligence, and practice must be complemented by stillness, reflection, and openness to guidance. Emmet Fox taught that the mind is creative, yet receptive awareness allows intuitive insight and spiritual direction to emerge. The wonder child thrives when effort is harmonized with trust, allowing growth to unfold naturally without forced control or undue struggle. Ultimately, the journey of awakening fully is a lifelong exploration of potential, joy, and spiritual alignment. The wonder child accompanies each step, offering insight, inspiration, and guidance. Emmet Fox's teaching reminds us that spiritual awakening is a dynamic, evolving process, not a final destination. By practicing consistently, reflecting deeply, cultivating patience, and engaging with life consciously, individuals experience the gradual unfolding of inner power, the expression of latent potential, and the sustained joy and purpose inherent in the wonder child. The ongoing journey transforms perception, action, and experience. Life becomes a canvas for conscious creation, guided by inner wisdom, spiritual principles, and aligned intention. Challenges become opportunities, relationships become mediums for growth, and daily habits serve as instruments of awakening. The wonder child, fully integrated, expresses joy, creativity, and spiritual insight in every aspect of life, demonstrating the profound capacity of human potential aligned with divine guidance. In conclusion, awakening fully is a dynamic, continual process. It requires consistent practice, reflection, patience, and alignment with thought, emotion, and action. The wonder child, as a guiding presence, illuminates the path, nurtures creativity, and inspires joy. Emmet Fox's insights, supported by Philippians 1 verse 6, highlight that the journey is ongoing, divinely guided, and ultimately transformative. Each step, however small, contributes to the realization of latent power and the authentic expression of inner light, making life itself a continual unfolding of spiritual awakening.